Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. Hello, cold cooters. How you guys doing? Good morning, Cole. Hey, Potato. Hey, Teresa. Teresa says it's so cold in the day. It's so cold in the day. Hey, Sandra. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Proud Mimi. Good morning, everybody. Butter. Dude, Granny did so good asking those questions last night. I can't wait to listen to it again. So last night I listened to Elevated Truth. Thank you, Stryker, for letting us know that Chris Proudfoot was on there. We haven't heard from the Proudfoots in a minute, but we heard from Chris last night. And I was a little distracted as I watched it, so I didn't get to take in everything. So I wanted to re-listen with you guys and go through some of this. I know a lot of people are upset at Truth. It was pretty intense, Amy. It was pretty intense. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Jonathan. Well, 62% of you saw it. The rest of you didn't. So I guess this will be interesting to watch it together. Come on in and hit the like button, y'all. Hey, KB. There was a couple times where Chris was tearing up, says Kels. And if you haven't seen it, go over there. I put the link in the chat. Go over there and hit the like button for Truth. Hey, Pizza. Hey, Patricia. I know I'd rather watch with you, Cooters. Hey, Trixie. Hey, Kelly Mack. Good to see you. Truth isn't everyone's cup of tea, including me. He seems like an honest person, though, says Butter. I think he is, too. Everybody, on this platform is different. We're all different. We all handle things different. We all conduct interviews different. We all take information in different. I just think that getting involved with any of these parents is fucked at this point. That's what I think. I don't trust any of them. This morning's coffee is brought to you by One Eyed Flo. Thank you for the creamer, One Eyed Flo. A bit about when Clue told that story. I know he was so sick too. Anyways, let's get into it, guys. It's pretty long, so I'm gonna put it on 1.25. Hopefully it's not too fast. I've got the captions on. Let's just get into it.
So it won't even let it says they will need to connect.
This is right before Chris joins, by the way.
Their mic cam before you can add them to the stream, Chris.
So you probably have to give permission, right? Like you know how it's like, please give permission to your camera and mic.
He's been on panels before.
I know.
Yeah, as I say, I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay, so who's on panel? Truth, Clue, Queen, B, Granny, and Body Moving are on panel.
And then I was cooking dinner, so I was listening to you guys as you were talking. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just kind of taking it all in, to be honest with you. Who was trying to come up?
All right, I'm about to bring.
How you wait 20 minutes? How did I say that 20 minutes ago? Talking about if Queen's still even here, she can come in. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. Somebody just asked in the chat, Large Marge or something, said, am I still here? Yeah.
Large Marge.
Oh, I thought you answered me. I was like, I asked that shit 20 minutes ago. What are you talking about?
All right, guys. So I'm gonna bring Chris up. So here we go.
Well, what context did I miss, Heather? Do I need to start sooner? Because I don't know why Chris came up. How far before, Heather? Because I do want to get context. If there is context to be gotten. Let me know how far back I need to go. Because I know he was live for like 2 hours before Chris called in. You missed why he came up. It was about the truck. Okay, so let's go back. How far back?
We wouldn't have people going after Stephen Crabtree.
Crabtree just lost literally his entire company today. Done.
About 5 minutes. Okay, that looks about good.
I know for certain that they're using creators to sling mud instead of doing it themselves.
Absolutely.
For weeks.
Well, and that's one thing,
Absolutely.
and that's one thing I kind of wanted to come up here for. Like, we know that this preacher is being kind of like thrown under the bus right now. And this isn't the first, innocent, let's assume, right? Innocent person that's being thrown under the bus, right? And it does upset me that all these creators, I'm not myself, because I don't really go after people, but these creators are going after each other in the name of the Proudfoots or Seth. That is upsetting.
Absolutely.
That is upsetting.
100%.
Very
Yes.
upsetting. They don't care about you. Stop. I
This is
agree.
what I've been screaming from the rooftops side, and now they did a good job.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, and now instead of focusing on Sebastian, we're focusing on this ridiculous fucking tarot reader from a whole nother country. Like, why?
Yeah, you're 100% right.
It's infuriating, to be honest, because
Yeah.
and not only that, but some of these slimy creators did it too, because they used this child, flipped and their parents to build an army against a long-lasting.
So the reason Chris came up was because it was insinuated his truck was there on February 25th. Because I heard him say my truck was not there, blah, blah, blah.
Feud. Betty with JLR. Betty didn't start defending Seth until she got kicked out of JLR.
Hi, Donna.
And lost her stupid top contributor badge. She thought it was like a personal move against her. Brittany was calling out Tony and Seth until she saw that I was really going hard at Seth.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden she's defending them.
I remember that.
Step back.
I remember the night Tony went in her live for the first time. She didn't take the opportunity to like ask him any good questions. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. No.
You're 100% right, Granny. You're 100% right. 100%. And if they're going to sit back and just kind of watch as these innocent people are basically getting mobbed by a psychopath.
Let me clarify something, Marie Jones. A lot of people say this. Well, you go after creators every single day. Why out me and C's? And Seth is the most look.
The Proudfoots have, but that's because the Proudfoots have given the ammunition to certain individuals. And, it's like, the funny thing is, you would think that one of those individuals is Clue and Cletus. But in fact, Clue and Cletus, I've been on the phone calls with them, will bash heads with Chris and Katie. Like y'all have this confusion that Clue and Cletus are Team Proudfoot. They're Team Sebastian. Now, whatever friendship, relationship, whatever ship that they have with people is their business. But if y'all think for a second that they haven't gone head up and head strong with both of them, y'all are crazy. I've been on the phone when it's happened. Right? So there's no confusion here. The only problem is that creators don't talk to each other because these creators, in my opinion, have so much pride that they can't put it down for a case sometimes. Right? And in this case, there's been so much behind the scenes talk.
Yes, I was muted, Cooter. Fuck. Anyways, I was saying I disagree with this because creators don't get along because some creators make shit up. Okay? They make shit up and they run with it. And other creators sometimes don't agree with that. But there is a lot of talking behind the scenes, but truth is talking behind the scenes too. So I don't understand. This is why I say getting involved with parents in a case like this where it's gone unresolved for this long, fucking huge mistake. I was there listening, Leslie. I was there listening. I was live when this started. I didn't even know that he was live. And then we found out when Chris came up and I ended my live to go watch it. I didn't know. I don't know. All right, let's keep listening.
If some of these creators would come together in a Discord conversation or whatever and start putting all their information together, y'all would see how many of y'all have been played.
And that's never going to happen, okay? Because each creator is individual, right? They're making their own money. I mean, let's boil it down to what it is. Every creator is making their own money. They're not going to get in a Discord and share information that they've uncovered with other creators. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Okay? It's just the nature of this platform. We're not here to be a collaborated effort and all do the same thing. We're just not. And I don't think it's ever going to happen. I just don't.
In my opinion.
I agree.
Well, I'm just going to say this too, right? And I mean, I do realize that a lot of people can't come here, and I get that. And YouTube doing what they do is their way, and that's great. But I also do know that there are a lot of people that could, and I know for a fact that there are relevant areas that have absolutely not been searched by foot. And you know, I agree with getting together in a Discord, but I also think that some of the people that want to pick apart shit that people are actually doing on the ground, if they have the ability, should absolutely show up and just.
And you know what another problem with that is? Saying, oh, everybody get together. No, because this platform, the majority of the people are one for all, and that's it. They're one for all for one. They're totally not willing to share info. They're not willing to, collab very often. It doesn't work that way. It would turn into more of a shit show and more creator on creator fighting, in my opinion. Dude, that would get so messy. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine? Oh God, I can't even. Nope. I think we're all better on our own separate platforms.
See what it's really about and take part in that.
Absolutely. I'll agree with
I
you.
am for one. Do I think he's out in the woods? I have no fucking idea. But until we eliminate that possibility, we cannot say he's not.
Well, let me ask you this, Cletus, and I asked you this the other night, but to date, and y'all have been out there searching, I would say a good, 30, 40 hours?
Oh, we spent some time for sure.
So probably about 40 hours. Have you found a single minute anything that would represent Sebastian had been there?
I have not, no.
Well, to be fair,
I can't say that.
But here's my thing, right?
Like we've come across things, and there are things that are marked not by us, but by law enforcement that could allude to he was there. Or someone was there. How about that? I won't say he, but someone.
But the question was, have I seen anything that alludes to Sebastian?
Yeah, but there's people everywhere. There's people everywhere.
And being there. Well, that's obviously my interpretation of anything I've seen. And I have not. What I have seen is every time we've
Vivian,
gone out
it's the weed.
and cleared a spot that I can comfortably, for me, say is cleared, we stumble upon a new area at the same time. Every single time. And then we go and we do to find that there is a possibility that area has not been as thoroughly searched as we thought.
I agree. Dude, it's so vast. Like, I know for me personally, it was like a situation of looking at the area on Google Maps, and you're like, oh, I mean, that's not bad. Then you get out there in the woods and you're like, okay, so on the map, we've gone from here to here.
Right.
Like, there's so many.
Well, and the terrain is so rugged. Like, it's so much more rugged than I can't imagine. You're doing a great job. A cowboy. How's my cowboy?
I mean, really, what I'm hearing here is just, oh, you're doing so great. Oh, we can do this. Oh, we can do that. I mean, no offense. I nothing personal, but
Not cowboy, girl. I'm talking about cows.
I know, but remember my cowboy with the chaps?
I remember your cowboy. I actually saw him again and talked to him, by the way.
Oh, tell him I said hey.
He's a lot younger in person than he looked on the video.
Oh, even better. Okay.
Well, this is something that I think is important. If the goal was to find Sebastian by everybody covering Sebastian's case, we wouldn't have people going after Clue and Cletus about what they've done. We wouldn't have people going after Stephen Crabtree.
Crabtree just lost literally his entire company today. Done.
I spend so much time on TikTok.
I can't with that either. Okay. I don't know these people. All right. I'm just going to say this. He was losing contracts, allegedly. I don't believe everybody right off the bat just because they say it. I don't knee jerk believe it. Unfortunately, that's the culture here on YouTube. You can't just believe somebody because they say it. So why does it? Okay, let's put this in perspective. Okay, we have to put this in perspective. We have to hold everybody accountable the same. Okay, we have Brittany J over here. We damn sure do criticize her, right? If you're scared for your life, if you're scared of Granny, if you're scared of all these things you put in this lawsuit, why don't you unplug? Right? If this dude's starting to lose contracts because of YouTube or TikTok, doesn't he have a family? I mean, I'm being fair. Okay. Why aren't they telling him that he maybe needs to step away? and put his real life first. I don't get that. I don't get that. And I don't get doing a live going, oh, I just lost everything. I just feel like there's something behind that, man. Because, like, I have bummers happen to me all the fucking time. I don't click the live button and tell you guys all about it. I'm sus of people that do that. I'm sus when people spill their, their woes, their personal woes like that. Like, oh, it's because I'm on here showing you guys that I'm out in the boat and everything. I lost my jobs because I'm doing this. It seems like a pity party. It just seems like a fucking pity party to me. It's about everybody else but Sebastian. What about Sebastian? He's been missing for 10, 11, almost 11 months. What about him? I'm hearing about everybody else's fucking woes. Literally, everybody else's fucking woes when it comes to Sebastian Rogers. I have no idea what his skill is, but I'm telling you right now, if I had to work a regular job to support my family and YouTube was fucking it up, I'd leave YouTube and stick with my job. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's a business owner. It doesn't, when it defies logic, I have to talk it out. I'm sorry. I do. I'm sick of all the money handling. I'm sick of the grifting. I'm sick of the woe is me's. I'm tired of it. We're fucking covering a missing kid. What kind of condition is he in right now? I'm tired of it. I'm fucking tired of it. Because you know what? I have woes too. I got woes too. I got to wait to Christmas shop until December 23rd when I get paid. I got fucking woes too. But I don't sit here and go live about it and say, oh my God, you'll miss out. It's fucking bullshit, man. Keep it about the kid. I mean, it's just like enough is enough. Every single person has a personal woe that they have to bring up when they talk about Sebastian. I don't understand it. If they're calling your work and making you lose your job, maybe you need to handle that. It's the same advice we give Brittany J. You're welcome, Captain. Why would you risk your 13 years of business for a YouTube channel? Make it make sense. I don't know. He started a nonprofit. I think there's a bigger plan. I think there's a bigger plan with people, and I don't like it. I'm just here to do my YouTube channel, talk about what happens, talk about the latest in the case. And we got people over here bringing their personal business. I can't anymore. No, apparently he did a whole live about it. I don't know. I don't like pity parties, especially with men. Stop it. Just stop it.
Talk defending Crabtree that it's annoying.
Company today.
Going after Stephen Crabtree.
Crabtree has lost literally his entire company today.
He lost his entire company today. Sounds to me like he needs to get off YouTube and figure out this problem. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. Come on.
Done.
I spend so much time on TikTok defending Crabtree that it's annoying.
But here's the thing, but who created that environment?
I know.
There you go.
I know.
mean, like just saying that, like, yeah, we get it. Nobody should be going after it. Just like Seth shouldn't be making fucking comments. Let me put it up verbatim. When it comes to SF Investigates and every other credential person that has worked to help find Sebastian, when he's making a comment, I have my own opinion of Stankfoot Investigation Services. When he's writing that, if this was about finding Sebastian, he would be thankful that SF is down there in Tennessee doing an investigation. You want to be talking shit like that in a chat box with somebody that can barely stay awake? So for some reason, one or the other, and what was it, fucking March, April? He sent out 6 cease and desist to people in Tennessee?
March 29th.
Who the fuck does that? What father does that?
Yeah.
And specifically,
it was May.
It was May. I'm sorry. Specifically, the wording. Stop talking about Sebastian Rogers, specifically the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. I'm sorry, but that shit will always be sketched to me. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
The other part of it that said, don't disclose. Stop immediately searching. Blah blah blah.
But Donna, they didn't say he lost his job. They said he lost his company today. Honestly, Jay, all the men on YouTube are douchey and get all gossip like little bitches. They do. It's crazy. I mean, Crabtree's got women defending him on TikTok. Are you kidding me? What the fuck? I gotta defend Crabtree all over TikTok. What? This is insane.
Don't disclose any information pertaining to his disappearance, and don't use my name or his name to enter properties. Like weird shit like that. That's all weird to me. So when people are attacking people that are searching, that's why. Because early on, he created this image
and sides like immediately.
Where you can see them, and of course the response is, well, of course you're working for the side that's doing it. Like I hate to tell people this. I know it's gonna break some hearts when I say this, but if you think for 5 seconds, in my opinion, that Chris and Katie are worried about following people, slitting tires, cutting serpentine belts. Hell, I was blamed for Terry Lynn's fucking flat tires, and my fat ass was sitting in my recliner. Like, what are you? Whatever. Them people are out there working.
You know, with all due respect, I want to get back onto the subject at hand because I think we've kind of diverted off because of all the players involved in this.
But that's the ultimate issue, Truth.
Right, it is. And it happens at every live when things are starting to be talked about as it diverts to creators. I want to stop talking about fucking creators.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about creators. I'm saying the issues began when there became a divide and people automatically placed you on sides.
Yeah,
but who created the divide? Who created the divide? That's the bigger question.
Well, I'll tell you who did, because when Seth came back and he told everybody, he told the public, I'm going to be working with Chris and Katie, and if you don't like it, fuck you. It's literally what he said.
Fuck off.
Big creators, JLR, Pascal, Dolly went live and started saying things like people are going to want their GoFundMe money back. I don't know how many people are going to support this. And by that night, he was back online cursing them out. So that's where the divide became and stayed. Because he came out as the shining father, and they looked like the pieces of shit that left their house. And I mean, they did. They did look like it. They were. And right away, people were like, they must be guilty. And Seth fed off of that, and he fed off of that. In a minute, he risked not having the public on his side. He decided he needed them more than it was important to work with the parents to find his son.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate, right? If you believed that someone did something to your son, would you want to work with them?
Well, why would he agree to? If I believe that man did something to my son, the minute he had me pinned against my truck, I'd kick him in his fucking nuts and we'd be fighting.
We talked about that, but let me put it to you this way.
Granny.
I don't know who did what. I have my own opinions, right? But my opinions are just that. And I think that I've done as much as I can to keep those off of my page because I don't want people to believe what I believe. I want people to be able to make their own decisions based on what they hear and what they see, right? But at the end of the day, if we're to believe all the things that we've been told, then any of the three of them could have done something, and any of the three of them could have not done something. But I will say this much. There's no video of Sebastian leaving that house anywhere. There's no video of any car picking up anybody. There's only a flashlight video and maybe one or two other ones, right? And if there's nothing showing him physically leaving that neighborhood, and there's only two things that left that neighborhood that morning, what are we supposed to think?
Well, I can I can battle that because there's no footage, right? Sure, there's no footage, but it was also supposedly during the night. And law enforcement themselves have reenacted walking through to see if any footage would pick them up, and it didn't. So this idea that he, just because there's no cameras that caught him means he didn't go outside that house, I have to disagree with that.
I'm going to add, hold on, because I too am going to add on to what Granny is saying right now. Our camera that we use, our night vision camera, trumps any security camera in that entire neighborhood. And I'm talking about two grown-ass men walking out front of that house, and you can never see anything. Not a goddamn thing, bro. When people tell you, I'm here, I've been there in the middle of the night. And when people say that it is so dark you can't see your hand in front of your face, it is not a lie.
Yeah, that's what Bobby said. Bobby Binocular said that.
Okay, well, that goes to my second point then. I'm so glad y'all said that because although you think that you just, somehow closed that off, you absolutely didn't. Here's my thing. If that's the case, there's no light. Okay. Mm-hmm. And all Sebastian had was a tiny little toy flashlight. And he allegedly didn't have any shoes on, right? You're telling me that in wet dude grass, he didn't slip while running away from the house?
Who's to say he ran?
Well, I mean,
Right.
because what do you
Or Slim Hauser. Does he want to become a PI or SAR like his buddy SF? I mean, all of this has just gone too far, in my opinion. The ass kissing on everyone is crazy.
mean? If you're walking in the dark in that neighborhood, if you go off into that terrain, you have to see the terrain. It's not possible.
Well, I don't think he went into terrain. I think we see a car light. Come on. I think he went to a vehicle. I think he met
No,
somebody.
I think he
have
could
to,
have made it to Long Hollow and met somebody.
Right.
where's the digital footprint then?
He
Well, they
doesn't have to have a digital footprint. It could have been
Sure.
it could have been anybody on the road.
How do you think people kidnapped before electronics were around?
Before electronics were around, they didn't have car teams that could come in and figure out what phones were used,
Exactly.
what Wi-Fi's were in the area.
Right.
Now,
they didn't-
mind you, it was said that there were only what 2 exterior internet
Wi-Fi.
sources that came in and out of the area that night.
Mhm.
And isn't it funny how one person said one of them was his?
Yeah, that'd be a
Oh.
little weird, for sure.
Oh, it got quiet real quick on that one.
I answered.
I don't think I understand what you're.
I don't
I'm sorry.
understand it
I
either.
don't
I'm
understand
sorry.
what you're saying. That's why I'm quiet. I'm sorry. I don't get it.
He's
It
saying
was
on
said.
supposedly on the night that Sebastian disappeared, they go through and they check like all the Wi-Fi in the area, and there was only 2 Wi-Fi's that came in that area and left that area. Like 2 open networks, 2 traveling Wi-Fi's came in and left.
Okay.
And apparently Chris claims one was his truck.
That
Boom.
night. That
Well,
night.
they did the search for that night. So
Why would Chris's truck be there?
I mean,
I didn't. This is the first I'm hearing of this, so that's why I'm like, what?
Me too.
Yeah, I'm
Wait,
sorry. I
let me
can't
go
really
back.
comment on it because I don't know anything about it.
The iPhone link. Let me try to grab the iPhone link. Or do I have any mods in here that have it? Let me try to find it. I'm going to rewind a little bit because this is when the truth brings up the Chris's truck.
Well, it could have been.
night. So
Apparently Chris claims one was his truck.
That
boom.
night.
Sebastian disappeared, they go through and they check like all the Wi-Fi in the area, and there was only 2 Wi-Fi's that came in that area and left that area. Like 2 open networks, 2 traveling Wi-Fi's came in and left.
Okay.
And apparently Chris claims one was his truck.
That
Boom.
night. That
Well,
night.
they did the search for that night. So
Why would Chris's truck be there?
Wait,
I mean,
Truth didn't say his truck was there. Katie did. Or Katie. Granny did. She said Chris claims one of those is his truck.
Networks, 2 traveling Wi-Fi's came in and left.
Okay.
And apparently Chris claims one was his truck.
That
boom.
night. That
Well,
night.
they did the search for that night. So
Why would Chris's truck be there?
I mean,
I didn't. This is the first I'm hearing of this, so that's why I'm like, what?
Me too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't really comment on it because I don't know anything about it.
well,
Well, it could have been the 25th through the 26th. I don't know. I mean,
25th through 26th still means that allegedly he wasn't in town.
I mean, the
The
26th he would have
he would
been.
have been. Right.
Oh, right. The 26th he would have been. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the comment went something like, "Those dumb assholes didn't even know that it was my truck."
Lazy. Well, if you can't ask me what time, because I don't know. I
That's
don't
really
know what time.
that's really weird because so you're saying it's like a hot spot that came
Yes.
in and out,
Yes.
and that's really weird because you have to turn those on. They're not just
Well,
on. You have to turn them on. They're not just
I'm-
on willy nilly.
I'm just telling you what was said, right?
Yeah,
Like, I can't stand by it. I just
It's really hard for me. It's really hard for me. I'm in tech. That's my job.
Mhm.
And it's really hard for me to believe that. And not that you're not telling the truth. I just don't know the source of that. It's hard for me to.
Chris.
Okay, so it's hard for me to believe that. Then it's hard for me to believe Chris. Yeah, not you, Truth.
Right.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but it would make you ask the question, why would Chris say that?
Yeah, it would. It absolutely would. Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
It was said privately, y'all. And it was said to more than one person on this panel. So
Okay,
I'll
so
leave it at
they
that.
So they had no
It
idea
wasn't. And
at this point that Chris was lurking.
it was said at 2 different times. It wasn't said at the same time.
I mean, is Queen still here?
I don't know.
She might be feeding the dogs or something.
Yeah, at this point, I'm walking my cat. I'll be back.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, truth. I can't really.
Well, would
It's
that
hard
not throw your head for a loop when you hear that?
Well, it is. That's why I really don't have a response, because I really need to process that, because it truly doesn't make sense, because Chris is basically saying his truck was in the vicinity and he turned his hotspot on during that time.
Now, let me say this, because Granny made a good point. It could have been that they did the 25th and the 26th, and because he came home on the 26th, it showed up.
Right.
Right.
Oh, so it's not during the time frame.
I believe they tested the 25th through the 26th, which is the time frame that he allegedly went missing. So if you say
it wasn't in the middle of the night.
We don't know that.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
So,
I do. Yes, I do.
But the response, my point wasn't so much his internet. It was the response of, these stupid motherfuckers don't even know it was my truck.
Everybody's, you know what else, Sleuth? Everybody's a fucking investigator now, right? Everybody's an investigator. And if you haven't been boots on the ground, you shouldn't say shit. That's the point we're getting to. If you are able to go there and search and you haven't, then you basically shouldn't say shit, is the message I'm getting. I mean, this happens every fucking case. When you get creators who get involved and get out there, then they think that they own the case. And I'm feeling like this is tilting that way, because now we have private conversations being outed in the middle of a live stream. Why?
Truth be told, he does have an alibi, right? Like,
yeah, right.
So
does he?
Yeah.
Well,
how do we know
I
that?
think so.
I mean, how the fuck do we know that he has an alibi? We don't. We know what he's told us. I don't believe any of these people. Where's law enforcement? They haven't said that they all have alibis.
I mean, even other people like Steph's private PIs.
Yep.
They verified it. Not Chris. Steph's tip line verified to me that Steph was definitely at work. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, it must not be too airtight if they're not clearing anybody. But as far as
Granny, they haven't cleared anyone. Bing bong.
Understand? He's pretty much accounted for.
And let me say this: I don't personally think that Chris was involved in Sebastian's disappearance. I don't. You know what I mean?
Why? Why don't you? Because you talked to him? We have no idea who did this. We have no idea if Chris, Katie, and Seth did this together. We have no idea. But we're going to sit here and say, well, I don't think Chris did it. Why? Because he talks to you? Because you want him to keep talking to you? I just don't get it. You're going to share his private conversation, but then in the next breath, you're going to say, well, I don't think he did it. I don't think he had anything to do with it. It's arrogant, and it's cryptic. And it makes people want to come back and listen because they think you have an inside scoop. It is.
I mean, I think that he may know about it now, maybe, but I don't think he had anything to do with Sebastian going missing directly anyway.
I don't either. I don't either. I think that he is protective of his wife.
Yes.
I agree.
I feel like that if he did really know something without a doubt, I feel like they would get it out of him. Like, if that's true, if there's a chance that...
Dude, if they lawyered up and there is no physical evidence, good luck getting it out of them. How are you going to get it out of them? When you're lawyered up, you don't talk without your lawyer. This could very well be something where they're all three kind of sketchy to law enforcement. We don't know what we don't know.
Either of them did something, they know it. It won't be long before FBI does as well, right? Like, so time will tell, obviously, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't fucking know them, so I can't.
Yeah, I don't think he has anything to do with anything. I truly don't.
I don't either.
I truly don't.
I've stood by that for a long time.
And if he said my Wi-Fi, my truck, whatever to you or whoever, I don't know, but I would imagine it would be when he was arriving from the work site, right? I mean, that's what I would think. I thought you guys were talking about during the missing time frame, like let's say 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
That's what I thought too.
That changes everything.
No,
that
no,
was probably
I don't
just
know.
him coming home.
Yeah, that's why I made the point to say there is no time. Right? Like, I
If
don't
that
know.
was the time frame, then the police would definitely have more suspicion, you would think, right?
Yeah, because we got a problem living here if they didn't act on it. You know what I mean?
For sure. No, that's what I'm saying. That was my, once again, fair is fair, right?
It's just like with Seth, okay? The people that talk to Seth, they see what Seth wants them to see. They're fed what Seth wants them to know. It's the same with Chris. You think he's giving them shit that, is, like he doesn't know they're going to possibly fucking spill it? How do we know that Chris isn't giving them wrong information? We don't. So weird.
If we're going to bring something, you got to put it all out there. You can't just put half of it. Fair is fair. It was the 25th, 26th, under my understanding. So it could have been the entire day, right? That's just what it is. But it still makes it odd, right? It also tells me, and not odd, I'll take that back. It adds a little bit to it. But it also tells me that law enforcement checked that area for any signal, which means that Sebastian could not have communicated with anybody, even from another device, because it would have shown up on what the car team was doing.
No, because you said that they looked for they looked for Wi-Fi, like they looked for hotspots. A burner wouldn't be a hotspot. That would be a geofencing thing, and they would have found it though.
That's
like this cell phone doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
But if it has history of being there, like if he had a burner in his room.
Chris owes creators nothing. Well, then he shouldn't talk to them. Why talk to them privately? Hi, beautiful Diana.
Maybe he turned it on like every other day, then it might not, red flag. It really depends.
Right. That makes sense.
Okay, so now it's in the chat. Chris wants a link. Some people are saying, I don't know if that's really Chris, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it really depends.
I dropped a link.
Yeah, I don't think that's Chris. I think you can all kind of relax a little bit there.
Oh, wait, what's going on?
If it is Chris, just show me your face when you come into the back chat and I'll bring you up.
I have to make one more point. Okay, I know everybody just loves SF and I'm not saying anything bad about him, but have you ever thought about the same, like, you know how like law enforcement doesn't tell like Seth and Tony anything because they're on social media blabbing? Have you ever thought that maybe it's actually the same for him? I mean, I don't know. Seems like he's got some kind of, connection or he's talked to them, but how deep? I don't know. It's all weird. The fact that any of this is put on social media is crazy to me. I just think that people too easily trust because they don't trust the other side. So automatically whoever is on this side, they just trust. And I'm not saying not to trust people, but I mean, come on, this has gotten wild. Too wild for my liking.
Yeah, I was texting you and I was about to tell you to check your damn phone.
Oh, okay.
Now you're checking it.
Yeah.
I'm on my phone and the chat is going by so fast, I can't even read it.
It's because they're all freaking out. Like, oh my God, Chris, like, drop me a fucking link. You said
well, I'm not going to be spoken to like that, so I will get down if that's the case.
No, you're not.
It's not. I don't even think it's him. It's a troll.
Your device isn't connected, Chris.
Large March.
No, I don't want y'all to get down. I want y'all to stay up here respectfully, ladies. No, and I'm not trying to put anybody in a position, but I respect each and every one of y'all that are up here, and I want you to stand your ground. You know what I mean? And nobody's going to be disrespectful because if anybody is disrespectful, I'll just kick them off the panel. I hope that everybody is willing to have a respectful conversation. Chris, for some reason, it's showing that you're not connected, bro. You might want to go out and come back in.
I think it's a troll.
It's not.
The thing is, Puff Muffin, they think that they're going to...
I can tell you it's not.
They think they're going to get him to spill something. That's what I think. I think they think that one day, one time, they might just get that little piece of information that will solve the case.
So, it won't even let it says they will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them to the stream, Chris.
So you probably have to get permission, right? Like you know.
I
know.
Yeah, as I say, I'm here. I'm listening. I was cooking dinner, so I was listening.
How you gonna wait 20 minutes?
Chat, large Marge or something on my
talking.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna bring Chris up. So here we go.
All right.
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Hey, Chris, what's up, man?
What's going on? I want to know what's this talk that somebody on this panel is saying that I told you that my truck was in that neighborhood the night Sebastian went missing the night before.
That's not what was said. What was said was you said that your truck's Wi-Fi was in the cart when the cart team did their thing from on the 25th or the 26th. And I also restated that it could have very well been when you came home after Sebastian went missing.
So that would have had to been the 26th when I got to my house
That's
around
what
2 in the afternoon.
that's what we said.
That's what we said.
Chris. That's exactly what we said.
Yeah, I said it has to have been when he was coming home from the work site.
That's not what they said, though. Didn't they say he was there the 25th?
My truck wasn't in the area, the vicinity, and the FBI knows this. So don't speak of my truck being in that vicinity, that area, until the 26th at 1 p.m. in the afternoon.
That's what we said.
Well, not the time frame, but
not the time
Well,
frame.
now
We
the
didn't know the time. But what we said was
what they said was the 25th or 26th.
That they did it for the 25th and the 26th. So it's just as much likely that it was when he came in after Sebastian went missing.
Yeah, and that's why I was confused because I was like, what? And then that's why I said it had to have been when he came home.
Well, see, the problem is you get a bunch of people out here. You say one thing, you mean one thing, and this, that, and another, and then it runs wild like a fucking brush fire. That goes crazy.
it's true.
And here we are. We're 10 months into this. We got no leads. We got nothing. But yet we got another team over here that's out here just throwing shade left and right and a bunch of crap.
That's what we're talking about. We think it's very dangerous. People are being thrown under the bus and nobody seems to fucking care.
Who's in the back chat?
I have no idea. Hold on.
Is that?
I totally took it like Chris's truck was there the 25th. Try to open that link with your browser on your phone. Open it with Safari or your browser. Yeah, this is... that's exactly how I took it, and I'm sure that's how he took it. That's why he came up. It's confusing as fuck. It is. It's like a horrible game of telephone.
Fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Under Chris's name, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see it in the back chat, yeah.
So who is this person?
Right. The total backpedal. Wow.
I do. That's the person that's attached to that woman that accused you, Clue, of having something to do with
I have no idea who it is, to be honest with you.
What the hell's her name again? She was making those anti-Seth videos, and out of nowhere, she went nuts on us. Remember?
Momming it up.
You talking about momming it up?
Oh, that crazy bitch.
That's her man in the back right now.
You know, I have to say it. I have to say the fucking obvious right now. If my stepson was missing, I wouldn't give a fuck what you think, you think, you think, you think, or you think. I wouldn't even be on this panel. I wouldn't give a fuck about what was going on YouTube. This is weird to me. Make it make sense. I can see going on panels with your kid's flyer and raising awareness. He's still missing. This is what we know. The end. This is fucking weird. This feels like covering my ass. And it always has. It always has. The right questions are never fucking asked. It's skirted around, yada, yada, yada. With John Bonet, well, in John Bonet's case, the cops were doing this. The cops were putting out misinformation. But this is weird to me. If it's really causing real life problems for C and K, why are they on YouTube right now? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And I do have empathy for Katie. But where does the empathy for Sebastian trump Katie? Now we've made Katie this weak, feeble victim. But where's the empathy for Sebastian? Because if my son is missing, I don't give a fuck about me. I'll run myself ragged to the point I can't even pick myself up off the ground. I won't have people pity partying me, calling me a victim. I'd be speaking up saying, I'm not the victim. My son is the victim. He's missing. It only makes sense. This doesn't make sense. Right. It's weird. It's fucking weird.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, she just
Okay.
said, I'm psycho, LMFAO. Yeah, but you psycho as fuck.
Says
And you
Chris,
did
tell them to let MK Ultra in.
And
Yeah.
you need a biscuit.
Well,
It ain't my show to. It ain't my show to control who gets in and who gets out.
I wouldn't let them in for anything. Those people are fucking
No.
sus as
So
hell.
I'm not even going to pay attention to that. What I want to talk about is what we're doing up here,
Right.
right? The point of this situation is that all of the bullshit has got to fucking stop. All of it. The putting shit behind the scenes for creators to talk about. Seth needs to stop.
Didn't he just do that? Who's he preaching to? You just said, wow. I'm seeing this so different today. You just said this was in a private conversation. His Wi-Fi was there. La la la. Throwing out the little breadcrumbs for your viewers. What? And then you go, the bullshit's got to stop. I don't get it. It's the same. You're doing the same thing. Oh, I can't. I can't with this case anymore, man.
Stop it. Chris and Katie need to stop it.
Well, hold on.
And
Let
either
me stop you there because we ain't putting stuff out behind the scenes.
bullshit.
Well, Chris, can I
What
ask
are
you
we?
about
Hold
the
on. What are we
ban?
putting out
Bullshit.
behind the
Hey,
scenes?
Chris, don't put me in this position. Don't do it. Do
What are
not
we
pull my
putting?
man card. Chris, don't pull my man card to put me in this position.
I ain't pulling anybody's man card.
Chris, I'm going to ask you one more time. Do not put me in this position.
Well,
Hold on. We're going to get back to this in a second. Okay. Chris showing emotion. Great. That's wonderful. Yay. Congratulations. Almost 11 months into the disappearance of your stepson, you finally showed emotion. It'd be great if he didn't show all this other bullshit and just showed emotion. But doing all this fucked up shit for 10 months and then all of a sudden he shows a little emotion and everybody's like, oh, he couldn't have done anything. Stop it. Stop it. It's been almost 11 months. This is some messed up shit, man.
the way you're making it sound is a little odder than it may be true. So maybe instead of getting like that with him, because he may not know what you're referring to, because to be
Yes,
honest,
he does.
but it's for Sebastian, right?
Man
I'm
card.
not up here to have an issue with you, Chris. I just sat here and said, I don't think you have anything to do with the disappearance of your stepson. But do not put me in the position of you saying that there's not shit being pushed behind closed doors when you know damn well there has been.
I'm gonna tell you right now, there ain't a thing out there that we're afraid of. We
I don't
haven't
think there
done
is either.
anything. Hold on. Let me finish. Because this isn't about fucking sides. Once again, when all these creators can get past this shit and finally focus back on Sebastian, then the case might go somewhere. But it won't go anywhere if everybody is out here putting different narratives out there that don't need to be out there.
We all agree on that.
Right. But that includes
So once
everybody,
again,
Chris.
yeah, that includes everybody. And I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you something. If you come at me sideways or you come at my family sideways, you can bet your tail that when we bring the proof, it's proof. It's plain and simple.
Well, that's the thing, Chris. No one is
I don't throw
accusing
shade at people. I bring the proof. That's the difference.
about what?
Whatever, if y'all want to come out and say some shit, come out and say it.
Well,
Who
he's
is-
showing, in my opinion, he's showing a lot of emotion right now. And he is not happy that they said his truck was there on the 25th. He's not happy. The truth is saying, you told me behind the scenes. How can you trust any of these people? Why would Chris Proudfoot be having private conversations with elevated truth behind the scenes? Think about that. If your stepson was missing, would you reach out to a stranger who has a YouTube channel? Would that be your go-to? Think about it. Use your sense. We know Seth manipulates. How do we know we're not being manipulated even craftier with this one? Because I don't trust anyone who's going to reach out to some stranger on the internet that has a monetized YouTube channel and fucking confiding in them. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I think Chris Proudfoot has a fucking motive to talk to YouTubers behind the scenes. And that's CYA. A. He doesn't consider these people friends. He's not dumb. He is not dumb. Actually, Chris Proudfoot is very intelligent. He's not dumb. He knows exactly what he's doing.
What are you worried about someone saying? Like,
It doesn't.
I don't know.
That's
I don't
the
know. Hold
problem.
on. I don't know
That's
how
the
much you
problem.
said.
Because you all come out and say different things, and you all have your little riddle ways of putting shit out there.
I think you're confusing us with different people. Never have we done riddles.
Truth out
Never.
there yesterday or the other day said some stuff about Katie.
Like what, Chris? Open that can.
I don't have the exact quote on me, okay?
Well, if you're
I
going to
don't.
accuse me,
If you want to keep Sebastian's name and face out there, go up on a panel with a flyer and hold it up and say, my stepson's still missing. He was last seen in the area of our street on February 26th. This isn't positive. This doesn't help Sebastian. Give me a break. None of this helps Sebastian.
on my panel, be willing to back it up.
I am willing to back it up. If I had the exact quote, I would give it to you.
What was it about?
In regards to whether or not Katie was there or her going to the school looking for Sebastian.
You mean my question of why did Katie go to the school? Is it because Sebastian had maybe missed the bus and had walked there at some point? You're upset about that?
The way it was projected made it sound like you're questioning why did she even go to the school in the first place?
That's exactly what I was asking. Why,
because she's
out of
a mother
everywhere,
who has a son that goes to that school.
right?
Why wouldn't you go to the school and look for your kid?
I would agree with that.
I
Why?
mean,
I would have gone there too.
I would have done the
My
same thing.
question was my question was there a history of Sebastian walking to school, which is why she first thought, let me go to the school. Now, if you took that as me being
Well, I think that, she would go to the school because that's where he was supposed to be that morning. But okay. They go on and on. I mean, this is like, I can't even believe I'm watching grown ass men. I can't.
disrespectful, that wasn't what it was. It was, why was her first thought go to the school? It's a simple question.
Right. And it's a simple, logical answer to think about, too.
Okay,
It
so
is a Monday morning. He was supposed to be at school. So just like any other parent out there who has children, they're going to do the exact same thing.
I mean, if my child was missing, I would be out screaming from the rooftops for him.
And you're saying that she's not.
I'm absolutely saying she is not out screaming from the rooftops for her child.
What you don't know happens behind closed doors.
That's not screaming from the rooftops.
Wait a minute.
No one can hear her.
The problem is every time that somebody comes out and does something or says something, it gets twisted and turned in such a negative light. It doesn't matter who it is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter.
It's true, 100%.
I don't disagree with you on that. But when
so once again, you're out here saying this.
Hold on. No, I'm out here saying this because I've said that. Hold on. I've said this to you and Katie personally, have I not?
You have, Truth.
Okay.
And what you don't understand
hold on.
you're not here in this situation. You're not seeing the whole picture.
Hold on. Now, when I had that conversation with you, was it one conversation, 10 conversations?
Truth, we've had several conversations.
Okay. Now, did I ever have that conversation with you with any ill intent whatsoever?
No.
Okay.
Not.
So why are you mad at me?
Let me.
Why are you mad? Because I'm asking questions. Because I want, just like you want,
let me answer
Sebastian to be home.
I mean,
let me
you
answer your
got to give a chance
question.
to talk, Truth. To be fair.
I mean, exactly. Why does Chris Proudfoot feel such a need to prove that his truck wasn't there to YouTubers? All that should matter is what Ellie knows, what Ellie thinks. So it feels like maybe someone's a little too close to the truth because he's awfully defensive. I don't care. You twist my words, you run me ragged, you talk me down. I don't give a fuck. I'll take a bullet for my kid. Words? Shit. Fucking bring it on. Bring it fucking on. My kid's missing. I didn't do anything. You want to say my car was there? Fuck off. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. Who cares if they twist your words? Who are they? I mean, no offense, but you're talking to a guy that's sitting there in a Runts shirt with the flu who's on YouTube. Who cares? Who cares what he thinks? Who cares what we all think? We shouldn't even matter. Have a good day at work, Suze. Kelsey says, I don't think Chris told YouTube. He told Truth in private. So Truth is feeling left out. So came live to bring it out. Why bring it out? Who cares what people like Betty say? They're taking her to court. Let the courts handle it. I don't see this. I see this as a waste of time when you have a son missing. This is fucking weird to me. I don't see anything normal about this.
So automatically, my phone has been blowing up ever since you started talking about my truck.
Oh, his phone has been blowing up ever since they talked about his truck. This is what we're worried about. What?
So it's shit like that when it's put out there and you don't have the right information, which I'm pretty sure I've told you that before.
I said exactly what you just said.
There, once again, are you going to let me finish?
If you'll listen to what I say and repeat it, correct?
Who the fuck is calling him? That's watching YouTube. This is crazy to me.
Trying to, but I was trying to finish my statement.
All right, go ahead, Chris.
So I've told you this before. And the cat's out of the bag. FBI looked into me a long time ago.
What does he mean, cat's out of the bag? What's secret about it?
They've tracked my whereabouts with no problems. So when you come out here and somebody makes a statement, and then once again, like I've said before, you say something and 50,000 people take it and they run with it and they twist and turn it. And you could bet your sweet ass this conversation will be twisted within less than probably.
Chris, though. Wait, where are you? I'm sorry, but I'd stand up for myself if a so-called friend was lying about me. But don't you think that CP is smart enough to know that these people aren't his friends? He's not dumb. He knows these people aren't his friends. Or do you think he's naive like that? He was starting another narrative for them to be attacked over. I get that. I get correcting this. I'm talking about, what about the past 10 months? You know what I mean? No, it shouldn't have been said, but who cares? Like, if law enforcement knows you weren't there until the 26th, why do you care? I don't know. I just feel like people are on edge. There's something going on.
An hour of the show being over, if not twisted now.
It's twisted now.
Oh, somebody's live.
Yeah, but
Oh,
here's
they're
the
all in
thing.
the chat.
It doesn't matter how people. It doesn't matter how people twist it, right? Like they're going to.
For
twist
you, it doesn't
everything.
matter because you're not living this life that we live.
Are you going to let me
Plain and
finish?
simple.
Are you going to let me finish? Because I'm listening to you, right? You cannot come on here and act like I'm doing something wrong because I'm paying attention to you and Katie, and you have no problem with everybody throwing shade at Seth. You have no problem with that, okay? You can't come on here and pick apart something I'm saying because you don't agree with it now, but you sit there and have no problem with people attacking Seth, okay?
I have problems when I gave you the truth. I have a problem when I gave you the truth.
What truth? What truth?
I told you about my truck.
Is that not what I just said on my live? I literally said what you said. So why are you arguing with me about that?
Because there's a lot of questions about it. Because
that has nothing to do with me. I said word for word what you said.
No, you didn't. Because it wasn't, well, my truck would have been there the 25th or the 26th.
That's not what I said.
There is no question about me on the 25th. I didn't show up until at least 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the 26th, period.
Can you just clarify the situation, Chris? Like, what exactly? You show up on the 26th, they go for open networks. Like, what was the story, just so it doesn't go further?
So, on the 26th, when I got there, okay, I went and talked to the detective. Probably, I don't know, I wasn't even home maybe in 30 minutes. And I went and talked to the detectives, okay? Later on that day, I mean, there was, like we've said before, there's been people in and out of that house quite often. They brought in their special little tools and their gadgets, and they do what they do. When they saw that there was my truck's internet on their system, they were like, well, this is a new one. Well, no shit, because it's my truck.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense.
My truck doesn't need to be in anybody's conversations about where it was, when it was, and how it was.
Chris, did you hear me say that I don't believe that Chris had anything to do with Sebastian? Okay. So then in saying that, when I spoke about your truck, do you think I was insinuating that you had something to do with Sebastian's disappearance?
No, it's not what I said. That's not what I said.
I know. So my point is, it was said that your truck was there. I explained that they did because you told me that they did the geofencing thing for the 25th and 26th. Okay. Am I right?
I didn't tell you exactly what dates. I told you when they.
Oh, Truth he got upset there because I think he really did tell him that. Excuse me. He wasn't home. He said he was home 30 minutes. Yeah, he said I wasn't home but 30 minutes. Why is this relevant? Jessica, this is relevant because Chris Proudfoot has said he was gone all weekend. He didn't get home until 1 p.m. after Sebastian went missing. So the day before would have been Sunday when Katie and Sebastian went to the roadhouse, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Chris wasn't at the roadhouse. He says he was at work. SF says there's cameras in the cranes. Yada, yada, yada. Then you have Truth go live and say, well, his Wi-Fi of his truck was there. It was picked up on the FBI cast. So Chris comes up and says, what are you talking about? I never said that. So that's where this is all getting misconstrued. Fletch, for real.
Did it. However, what I'm telling you is don't insinuate my truck or me on the 25th or the morning of the 26th.
I didn't. So why are you still stuck on that?
I mean, Truth, to be fair, like I'm really trying to focus on the chat because I know we have trolls. And there are people saying that you kind of were insinuating. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. I kind of felt that too.
And that's why I was
told Truth that, and it was bothering Truth, and he wanted it to come out. I don't know. Maybe that's why it was brought up. But it doesn't really even matter. It doesn't even matter. What matters is what law enforcement has and knows and what they're doing. None of this matters in the grand scheme of things.
What the fuck is he talking about? Like,
Go back and say what I said.
Hold on. You do have a way of saying things like this mysterious fucking chocolate in a like fucking Valentine box. Like, what the fuck am I going to get? I don't know until I bite. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be rude, but I mean, you do insinuate when you speak.
I mean, I guess what's okay is that we can grill Seth to the end, but we can't grill Chris and we can't grill Katie.
No, I don't think anybody's saying that.
No,
hold on. I'm going to stand. I have the right to say my own opinion. I'm not saying y'all agree with me, right? But it's interesting to me that Seth has been accused.
Do you notice how all the women were like, no, that's not true.
Accused of horrible things with Katie.
So much emotion.
Seth has been accused of being abusive. Hold on. Can I finish, please? Just 1 second. Seth has been accused of being physically abusive to Sebastian. Chris has been accused of these things. But what we're arguing is a truck being in the area. That's what made you jump up here. Not all the other accusations. But
So
the way that
we'll address that real quick. It's real simple. What goes on in our family is not the public's business. We're not going to sit here, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you what in the world goes on or what happened in the past or any of that nature. That is not the public's business. I'm not going to sit up here and do what Seth did. That's not happening.
So wait.
I don't care if it offends or hurts somebody's feelings. That God forbid the parent between Seth and I'm not going to sit here.
I mean, in all fairness, Shaggy, if they don't watch, how are they being grilled? I mean, quite frankly, what people on YouTube think of me would be the least of my worries. I'm telling you, you're going to pass a milestone of a year without your kid. You're about to have your first Christmas without your child. The first Christmas in 15 years without his presence. And this is what you're doing? Fuck that. I'm not buying it. This makes them all more sus to me. Seriously.
And bash Seth. I'm not going to sit here and put out personal information. That's nobody's business.
And he comes
people out there and all of these things have all said the same thing.
And he comes across, and it works. he comes across as the nice guy because he doesn't bash Seth. So everybody gives him a fucking free pass. Well, he doesn't go on YouTube and bash Seth. He's smarter than that. He's smarter than that. He knows what's going to shed a better light on himself because he's self-aware. Seth isn't self-aware. Seth has no idea that he looks as horrible as he does. I don't think he can even see it. But this dude, he's smart. And he knows what perception means. That's why he's up here defending himself about his truck when we all don't really matter. Because he's worried about perception. This is all perception, guys. It doesn't matter. Why would they need to do right in YouTube's eyes? Fuck YouTube's eyes. What does YouTube mean? Nothing. YouTube isn't going to find their son. I mean, haven't we figured that out? 10, 11 months now? I mean, haven't we figured out that YouTube is not going to find their son? This is fucked up. This is 5 days before Christmas. It's messed up to me.
Happened. And it's correct. It shouldn't have.
I agree.
It doesn't do anything.
Well, and comparing what Seth goes through, there's a shit ton more people that are accusing Chris and Katie. Look at them in your chat. Fucking
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not.
Could you see the Gonsalves family doing this kind of shit? Oh my God. Could you imagine them being up panel after panel, you know, defending every little thing that Lana Oriani makes up about their daughter? No, they don't do that. Think about it, people. Think about it. Don't you think they would love to scream from the rooftops all the truths about Kaylee? After she was killed, hovering in a corner? But they don't. You don't need to prove anything to YouTubers when your kid is missing. And I've never seen anyone so defensive when their kid is missing. Not even the Wells. The Wells didn't even act like this. You can't. Why, Chris? I don't trust any of these parents. I'm not saying he's been on every panel, but why would you even be watching it? I'm sorry. I'm telling you how I feel, and it's very crystal clear to me.
Listen, hold on.
It's wild in there. Like,
it
I
is.
mean, your
and then
chat-
they're saying, oh, Seth doesn't care if people talk about him. Tell me
Damn, he's got a cig in his hand with that cough. Truth. Dude, take care of yourself.
he fucking doesn't when I'm paying a lawyer for an injunction.
yeah, that's a lie.
And on top of it,
A bold
Truth-
faced lie. He cares.
Well, I will say the truth. You and I, we've had our conversations, and we respect each other enough to understand we don't
Sure.
always agree, and we don't always
Absolutely.
disagree.
For sure.
But when your chat and my phone blows up with the perception of what you were, I'm not saying you're directly insinuating it, but even the fact of the way it came out was enough that my phone blew up.
Listen, here's
And
the thing.
and that's a serious issue, man.
The serious issue is that Sebastian's missing. That's the serious issue. Your
I
phone
agree
blowing
with
up
that.
That's
doesn't
the
mean a
top
damn.
priority. That's not
Honestly, I'm not trying to be
that's the top priority.
disrespectful, but for people to be hitting your phone up, that tells me there's a lot of people on YouTube that have your fucking phone number.
I agree with that too. Bing bong. I mean,
No, just a lot of people have Facebook Messenger.
Well, maybe that, but my point is, I'm not responsible for the chat. Okay, I haven't even been paying attention to the chat because they've been saying just as much nasty shit about me in my chat. Okay, I'm talking to you. I've been talking to you through my message,
Yep.
through my lives. I've been talking to Katie through my lives. I've done it behind the scenes and personal. There is absolutely nothing, and Chris, you've got to be able to agree with me on this. There's nothing that I've said up here on this panel that you and I haven't talked about before.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
So I'm not.
But-
I'm not
so-
up here. Listen, I'm not up here to smear you or smear Katie or smear Seth. Okay, that's
It's
not
not
my
a
goal.
smear. Listen, it's not a smear. It's the fact of an insinuation or the way that people perceive it. And what do? They're going to turn around and they're going to blow up the phone lines, the tip lines, and push this narrative that is so false. That's what they're going to do.
But hasn't that been the same thing? The little bit of information that
yeah, see, I don't trust that statement. Okay, so he says they're going to blow up the tip lines. Okay, well, the cops know your whereabouts and you have a total alibi. Who cares? Who cares if someone calls the tip line and says, I heard it on YouTube that Chris Proudfoot was there on the 25th. Okay, well, if you have a solid alibi, that wouldn't even fuck up the tip line. They'd be able to clear that tip right away, right? Straight away. Straight fucking away. This doesn't make sense.
That you and Katie have put out the creators done to Seth?
Actually, no, we don't put out false information about Seth.
I didn't say false, just information in general.
I mean, to be fair, if it's information that should be known about Seth, isn't that worth it?
Why doesn't that work? Why doesn't that
What?
work the same way for Chris and Katie, though?
Well, if it's actual factual information, sure, put it out and call law enforcement. Go for it.
Misty, I thought that was odd that didn't come up either. Dog the bounty hunter, this whole Nick interference, none of that came up. It was really strange. That was strange, Misty.
I mean, listen, you know
But
just
it's
as well
about
as I know.
Sebastian. This ain't about tit for tat of what he did in the past, what she's done in the past, what I've done in the past. Who cares? This ain't about our characters. This is about finding Sebastian.
But I think,
and if we
unfortunately,
go
it has
tit
a
for
lot.
tat about, well, Seth did this, Katie said that, I did this, and blah blah.
There's no wasted resource when someone has a solid alibi and they get a tip that he was there on the 25th and they know he wasn't. There's very little resources used to clear that. Just saying.
Blah blah. Once again, it doesn't find Sebastian.
But who put that information out there for everybody to know? If it doesn't matter, why was it ever put out there in the first place?
Well, how many times have you asked us about something about Seth and we've never told you?
Rarely.
Same concept.
Rarely.
Nope.
I mean, honestly, listen, here's the thing. It's not about me wanting you to be bashed, Katie to be bashed, or Seth. I don't want any of the parents to be bashed. But I also, don't tell me what to do with my channel because I'm not doing any crap. I'm simply bringing up conversation, Chris. The same conversations that I've had with you personally. I'm not talking about anything that I haven't talked to you and Katie about. So to assume that I'm coming on here and making shit up or pushing a narrative is bullshit. Because I'm not, and you just said yourself, everything I've said, I've spoke to you about already. So to insinuate that I'm putting out some type of narrative that is you don't know about or you don't, whatever, that's not the case. My questions have come up based on the conversations that we've had, right? And at the end of the day, I will stand on this again. And I won't go into it any further out of respect. I have been very careful about speaking on Sebastian at all and why there were decisions being made because I think it is extremely important to protect a child, right? I also think that if the general public knew some of the things, they would understand why you and Katie and Seth were making the decisions you were making or attempting to make. Would you agree?
I'm not going to sit here and go over that.
I respect that.
What I will agree with is simply this. Having a conversation is one thing. Having questions is one thing. But when your chat, which, I mean, no, you're not responsible for everybody. That's completely...
Up to good. C and K were probably already exhausted from all the BS yesterday from Nick and True Crime Buzz, and they have to deal with this. You know what the simple solution is to that? Don't watch. Why are you watching YouTube? Your kid ain't on YouTube. Or is he?
Understandable. But as one creator has even stated, sometimes the way you say something almost seems like you push something in a different direction.
I just think it's frustrating to certain.
Do you think that Truth pushed something in a certain direction? I mean, we kind of heard it, right? We kind of heard him say the 25th or 26th.
People that I won't push their direction.
I don't have a direction other than finding Sebastian and bringing him home.
I didn't say you.
That's what I have a problem with. Is why is everybody so worried about the bullshit? And that's literally what it is, bullshit. Instead of actual finding Sebastian.
Well, to be fair, Chris, without all the information, it's kind of hard, right?
Right, but there's no new information.
Okay, they talked about Dog. I'm saying they didn't talk about what's going on. What is going on with Granny right now, right?
I wish there was. There's nothing.
And because there's nothing, I think a lot of people are filling it with bullshit, right? They're filling the void with the gossip and the bullshit.
Absolutely.
You know, those.
Well, now a creator's involved. I mean, so yeah.
Well,
this is the
yeah.
shit that's going on.
I think when there's a divide, somebody's going to fill the gap with something, right? And that's what we see day in and day out.
You know, and I see a lot of comments, and I see a lot of comments about Katie, let Katie speak. And, you know, using the Texas Roadhouse video footage as an example, she was picked apart simply for looking for a waitress, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Like they picked that apart for weeks, or well, not weeks, but over a week.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of understand why she wouldn't. Anything she does, she rubs her leg and people think something. Like I kind of understand where she's coming from there. It's a lot. People really tear her apart, you guys.
And see,
Well,
I think
people, well, hold on, and let me defend something real quick. People tear all of us apart.
Okay, that's where I feel, you know what? Tear me apart. I don't give a fuck. Tear me apart. It's
All
weird.
of us.
that's facts.
People are tearing people apart in these shows for no reason. Now they're going after a pastor.
That is
Right.
crazy. That is
Excuse
absolutely
me,
crazy.
like help me understand how going after a pastor is going to help find Sebastian. How
Well,
is bashing Seth, Katie, myself, my parents, and God forbid anybody else involved? How is it finding Sebastian?
well,
People are people in this world. And guess what? There's not one soul that is perfect. We all have our imperfections.
Oh, Lord. Here comes
But
Chris
that's
with
what
his.
makes this world go round.
Oh,
Because if it was
Lord.
perfect, it would be very boring.
yeah,
And
that's
Deep
Agreed.
people
thoughts with
would not
Chris.
want to communicate with each other because we're all perfect. But we're not. In return, look, have some compassion. Learn to accept things. Like there's answers that we all have want and we just don't get.
Not yet, anyway.
Exactly.
Well,
And
Chris,
we want nothing more than to have them. Sebastian to be home. That's what's important here.
Yeah, but you got to understand when there's a missing child and they're, like you said, tearing people apart, when people feel there's inconsistencies in stories, and people are going to dissect that. That's what this sector does.
I know. And the sad part is because the whole story cannot come out
Right.
because law enforcement doesn't want things out. You know, there are people.
See, so there's a lot more, guys. Do you hear that? The sad part is the whole story can't come out.
The sad part is because the whole story cannot come out
Right.
because law enforcement doesn't want things out. You know, there are people out there that want to take one thing and twist it and shove it into a direction which they don't need it to be going, but they're doing it anyways. For what reasons? It ain't my business. But it sure in the world doesn't help find Sebastian.
Well, the fact that Seth is twisting things all different ways is your business, right? I mean, Seth referred to you as dad of his son. I don't know.
This community, true crime, and all these creators out there, they could do, God, they could do so much more.
amazing things.
Yes,
Amazing things.
everybody
Absolutely.
can. And I've had this conversation with several people.
Yeah.
They could do so much better. They really can.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that.
And instead of just going after each other, and I mean, I've even heard creators going after creators. You know, for their own personal
Happens
reasons.
every day.
You know, that's their choice. But when it comes to this community and finding these children,
So he's watching creator on creator drama too. That kind of concerns me too.
Sebastian,
Did we lose you?
I think you cut out.
I think yes.
can you hear me?
Now we can.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. But all of these kids that are missing, all these creators can do so much.
Well, and
So much good.
a lot of us do, Chris.
Oh, I
But
know, and that's why I'm not bashing.
no,
I'm
I mean,
just saying,
I
if
know.
everybody came together, God, he could be an unstoppable force.
I agree,
You know,
but it's hard to do when we're told half truths and lies,
amen.
like from
Amen.
one and the other. And you know, we don't know you. I've never spoken to you ever.
I'm sorry, who am I talking with?
That's body
Like
moving.
body
Oh,
moving.
I'm so sorry. Forgive
No,
me. I
it's
didn't know.
totally okay. It's totally okay. Like you don't know me. Like it's totally fine. It's hard, you know, and people. I'm not doing this, but people do feel the void. They fill it with nonsense.
I know, and
Yeah,
it sucks.
and
It sucks that
because
we can't come out and say certain things either.
no, I know I can't imagine. Like I really
And
can't.
I will say that that is a true statement that Chris just said. Once again, this isn't, I want to be very clear about my reasoning for this live tonight. Okay. It wasn't to bash anybody. I'm absolutely glad, Chris, that you came up here and spoke, right? I'm not mad at you. I don't have any hostility towards you. Okay.
No,
I'm
I respect
absolutely,
it. I mean, for the record, you know, we do respect each other. So,
for sure.
you know,
For sure we do. And we've always had that. Oh, and to be honest with you, the people in the chat are going to say and do what they're going to do. I think ultimately the issue,
and it's really sad.
It is, but ultimately the issue is that, you know, you say something that really gets under me sometimes, Chris, and that's that you say, well, it's our personal life. We don't want to talk about it, but y'all came to social media asking for social media's help. You know what I mean? And with that,
Asking
there
for
are
help is
questions.
one thing, but
Yeah,
being
but
torn
that's
apart is
different,
another.
bro.
Well, hold on. Let me
That's
finish.
different. They came to social media to ask for help looking for their son, not
to solve a case.
not CPS
Right.
reports.
That's-
And I mean, come on.
And last time I checked, there's not one show where we came onto a show or myself came onto a show and turned it into a bash session. I didn't do that. Not gonna do it. And quite frankly, I'm pretty confident when I say this. It's team.
He knows what that perception does for him. He knows that coming on here and not bashing Seth because he doesn't have to. The people that have already figured out Seth, right? The ones that get it already. So he doesn't have to say anything, but not saying anything and making a point of it. You know, I don't come on here and do that. He's doing it on purpose. It's perception.
Let's find Sebastian. Let's bring him home. I don't care about the BS. I don't. But bringing our kid home is the most important thing to all three parents.
If you don't care about the BS, why are you here? I mean, we got to use common sense.
All three of us.
Let me ask you this, Chris. Is there any way, and I understand that the answer is no, is there any way that there can be a work together between the parents anymore? Is that so far gone that it can't happen?
I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to cut that off. Because quite honestly, if that's what it takes to bring Sebastian home, then that's what we need to do.
Absolutely.
But I'm pretty sure there would have to be some sort of an agreement between the three parents.
So what can we do, or is there anything we can do?
There would have to be some sort of agreement, which he stressed. Why does no one say, okay, Chris, what would that agreement look like? Instead, they all say, we're going to start emailing Dateline and get you guys on Dateline.
Have to be some sort of an agreement between the three parents.
So what can we do, or is there anything we can do as a community to help with that happening?
Yes, and it's not going to happen. And I respect the fact that you asked it. The bashing has to stop. Period.
So you think that if the bashing stops, both against you and Katie and against Seth, that there would be
everyone.
Right.
Everyone.
Well, my point is, if that were to occur, are you saying that you would be willing to sit down with you, Katie, Seth, and talk things out?
We'd have it. It would be tough. Don't get me wrong.
It could be mediated, though. I mean,
I
right?
would say a mediation could be involved.
I think that would be really beneficial. I really do.
That's a beautiful statement. That is a beautiful fucking statement, and I hope there's some thought put into that.
I mean, like I said, I told Seth the day at that school. You know, when everybody thought I was going to do a nasty little argument, it never happened. It was a very calm, respected talk between us two. Do I think there is a way that things can change and work? Sure. But there has to be a lot of change to be done. Has to.
I would agree with you on that. But I'm glad to hear that you're not closed off to that, because I think 10 months into this, I mean, what's been occurring isn't working. Would you agree?
Yeah, but you have to admit truth. Actions, like words. In my opinion, Chris has already proved that working with Seth was not off the table a long effing time ago. Seth is the one who reneged on that. Period.
Well, hold on. Here's my point.
I won't defend that. I'm sorry.
Right, but here's my point to what I'm saying is that now it's being said on a platform that if y'all stop with the bashing, then they could possibly sit down and talk. And if you care, hold on, if you care about Sebastian,
Seth is grown, bro.
To say that all of YouTube needs to
Can I
stop bashing
finish?
for these three adults to put their egos aside and work. Don't put that shit on us.
Well, hold on.
Do what you have to do with Sebastian. Don't put it on us.
May I please say something real quick? So I hear what Granny is saying, and I've heard a lot of what the other creators and actually quite all the creators have said, done, whatever, and each other have put quite a bit of each other through, to be honest with you. No, I would not say that the three of us working together should have anything to do with YouTube creators on their own channels doing their own thing. We don't have any grounds to control that. We are not parents of creators. Never going to be, not going to try to be one. That's not
Thank
an
you so
option.
much,
Because
Leslie.
everybody's an adult and everybody was responsible for what they choose to do.
Right, and it's just not realistic is really what I was saying. Like, it's not
No,
realistic.
it's not. I mean,
There
don't get
has
me
to
wrong.
be a realistic
The
goal.
stuff that has happened, court documents, which, I'm still so lost a lot on, but all of this stuff that's flying out there, like, okay, that, for me, Katie, and Seth, the only thing I can personally ask is if the bashing would just please stop. For Christ's sakes, just stop. Stop bringing people into things that have nothing to do with anything. It just doesn't make any sense. But with creators, they choose what they want to do. That's their shows. That's, for some of them, that's their livelihood.
Unfortunately.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, unfortunately, is like, it's unfortunate that like a child being missing is part of how someone, and it's not just children, it's true crime within itself is very interesting.
Yes.
And there's a fine line, you know what I mean? There's a real fine line, and that's not the point of conversation. And let me say something. And
the the fine line is, you can cover more than one case. And the people that don't cover any other cases, like they just laser focus on this one. I mean, there's a reason for that.
And without getting interrupted, please, by everybody. I am very aware that my point of view on this situation is not the popular one on quote this side, right? And y'all can have an issue with what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to try to make conversation happen, right? And conversation has to happen in order for people to talk, right? And so you don't have to like what I'm saying. You don't have to like my point of view. I really could give a shit less. But conversation is how you get things settled. When me and Chris have had an issue, what have we done? Chris, we've gotten on the phone and talked, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. For example, Clue. When you and I have had an issue, what do? We get on the phone, we talk, right?
We fucking scream, but sure, if it's
All right.
talking to you.
Right. Yeah, we'll do that. Now, let me just ask you this, Chris, while everybody's trying to beat my head over here, which is fine. The last time you and I had a phone conversation and we talked about, I felt like it was time that some people started talking a little bit.
Right.
And we had talked about it quite a bit. And I said to you, well, it's going to come a time and point that I'm going to speak on my feelings. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I said, like, it was time that some people started talking a little bit.
See, now this is where I have a problem. Why is truth dictating when people need to start talking? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. There's just lines that are being crossed, and I don't like it.
That's Chris, while everybody's trying to beat my head over here, which is fine. The last time you and I had a phone conversation, and we talked about, I felt like it was time that some people started talking a little bit.
Right.
And we had talked about it quite a bit. And I said to you, well, it's going to come a time and point that I'm going to speak on my feelings. Is that correct?
Yes.
And do you think I have been disrespectful with the way that I've spoke about my feelings?
No, nobody has the right to determine how you feel. That is your choice. That is you. That's what makes you Truth as the person.
Right.
Anybody that tries to control somebody's mind, feelings, other than, your personal loved ones, because, but whatever.
That's different.
Yeah, exactly. But other than, but.
So you try to control your personal loved one's mind and feelings? Okay, that's weird.
Outside of that purview, you can't control people's thoughts. You can't control their feelings.
Oh, he was pervy last night too, guys. We got purview and we got pervy coming up too. I forgot about that. Yeah, we're immature over here. Yeah, we are.
And I'm not asking to control anybody. I'm asking just a simple thing. Stop bashing. That's it. I've been asking for this for a long time. Long time. I'm not saying nobody doesn't have the right to have questions. I'm not saying that. Everybody has the right to have their own questions. What I don't feel is right is to try to answer those questions with misinformation, disinformation, or something people don't know anything about.
Well, if I may, Can
Yes,
I
ma'am.
ask a question that led to misinformation and disinformation? Can you explain the emails that were released, or at least the, you know, the context of them? Because there's been a lot of gossip around them.
In regards to the schools, correct?
Yes.
Yes. I'll answer that because, quite honestly, I'm sick and tired of listening to people come up with the craziness.
Me too.
All those emails are to show are that the parents worked together. We'd had a decent relationship. It wasn't like it was a very one-sided, the whole relationship. No, between the three parents, it was co-parenting existed. It did. You know, we came up with an idea. Seth came up with some ideas. At no point in time has one parent or parents decided on one idea and said, doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, that's what we're doing. That hasn't happened. That's not how you co-parent. Co-parenting is talking, being able to have a conversation with the other parent and respecting what they say. You don't have to always like what each other says, but respecting each other and listening to each other to come up with a unified answer. That is very important when it comes to co-parenting.
May I ask
That's what the emails were about. Co-parenting.
Thank you. May I also ask at what point after Sebastian's disappearance did that change so drastically then? Was it the GoFundMe? Was it just build up tensions? Do you even know where this went so far left?
I know where it went far left, and be honest, that's not going to answer anything. It's not going to.
Okay.
That's in the past. It is what it is. It needs to be let go of. Look.
Is he talking about probably, Seth and Katie's relationship is in the past? I think that's what he means.
If
Do
I
you
sit here and
guys?
say it started on X, Y, and Z, all that does is allow people to say, see, back when X, Y, and Z started, this is when it changed. And that's not, once again, that goes against what I'm asking. Please, I'm respectfully asking the whole true crime community, for God's sake, stop.
Yeah,
You know,
I
and
agree.
and I have a question. Nobody needs to answer this question. But think about this in your own head and in your own hearts, for Christ's sakes. Okay? What happens if it was you?
I ask myself that all the time. I do.
How would you feel as a parent? You sit back and you see all this crap take place, but you don't live it.
Hell no, I'm gonna tell you right now, Chris. I'm gonna tell you right now. These motherfuckers. Hey, won't nobody else answer the question? I will. These motherfuckers couldn't do it. I promise you they couldn't. Because you let one other creator say something about them, and they got a 3-day rant about the shit that person said. None of these people out here, and I mean none of them could handle every day. Not just one person or their chat. Thousands upon thousands of people running their fucking mouths, judging.
Again, the only place this is happening is here on this platform. I mean, have you guys ever taken a break away from YouTube? I mean, as a creator, I've taken breaks. And it's quite amazing that when you don't go on YouTube, this shit doesn't exist. This shit doesn't exist. Why do that to yourself? When none of these people know anything about you, they don't know your story, they don't know your dynamics. No one on YouTube knows. We truly don't know these dynamics. But when things get this ugly, you don't watch them. I don't watch everything that people say about me, but also my son's not missing. So I'm in a different headspace if I do watch that shit. You know? It's too much.
Oh, I would never do this. I would do that different. I'm better than that. These people out here couldn't handle it. I'm trying to tell you right now they couldn't.
I certainly couldn't.
That could not do it.
I would collapse. I would collapse. Absolutely collapse. I would collapse 100%. 100%. I would collapse.
I will say this. You have a strong foundation. And a lot of people say they can, and they can, especially when you got to look down deep and you got to pick yourself up and you got to move forward every single day because you don't know what tomorrow's answers may bring. We may wake up tomorrow and get the answers. We may get something, and Sebastian comes home. We may.
I agree with you,
God knows we
Larry.
pray for it. It is.
I hope you get the answer to your prayers. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I really, really want Sebastian found. I think we all want the same thing.
I just think all this focus on parents is taking away. I mean, and it's okay, Casper. We can agree to disagree. I mean, this is such a crazy, I mean, I'm on a tilt-a-whirl myself. I may feel differently about this a week from now if I hear it again. I'm just giving my initial reaction right now. Our minds can change. We can see things in different ways, and we all see things in our own way. I appreciate everybody's opinion here. I don't like people saying they got to leave because my commentary isn't in agreement with their thoughts, but I'm willing to read your chats and take it in as well. That's why I'm pinning. I'm not against anyone. I'm just trying to take all of this in. It's a lot.
I mean, I think there's so many people out there that would love to see this case come to a positive end.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Chris,
it is just ridiculous.
can I ask you something in a positive light? Is there anything that you think creators can do better to help? Like, what can we do to help your family, including Seth?
Right. I get that your heart breaks for Katie. I have empathy for Katie too. But aren't we worried about Sebastian? I mean, there comes a point where, Katie's a big girl. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but she's a big girl. She's been a mom for 15 years, 16 years now. What about Sebastian, This is just getting to be too much. Too much for too long. And, having empathy is great, but getting your emotions too overly involved to where you feel like you have to defend these people that you don't know, it makes you kind of think twice, or it should. You should think twice about that. Like, why am I defending people I don't know? Because you really don't know. We should be careful on all sides because this has gone on way too long.
What can we do? What can we do to make this better for everybody and bring him home?
We thank everybody that has been spreading the flyers. And keep in mind, when I say this, I'm saying this not to bash, but I don't care how the flyers are put out as long as it's the correct information and it's out there being used.
Okay.
And I'm saying this for all three parents. And no, I haven't talked to Seth in a while, but I am going to speak for him when I say this. There's not enough resources until he is found that we can ask for. Because one, I don't know what to ask for. People have done flyers, they've done billboards. I mean, yeah, some of the negative stuff has kept his name in the spotlight. As much as I can't stand the negativity, yes, his name's in the spotlight. I don't know what else to do. I mean,
I know.
Other than stand everybody in this country toe to toe, side by side, and walk from one end of it to the other, I don't know what to do.
Right, because you don't know what you don't know. Like, yeah, I get it.
I mean, and I do appreciate God from every ounce inside of me. We appreciate everything that everybody has done and that they continue to do.
No.
I've just been sitting back and listening because I think it's a good thing sometimes just open your ears and hear what people are saying. For me personally, my biggest hang up, and Chris, we've talked about this as well, is that Katie has been so quiet. Now, there's two reasons why I can understand Katie being quiet. One, every time y'all come out and talk, it's ripped apart. I get that. And two, she may not be very good or do very well at public speaking. Okay. But I think that the issue that people have is that they haven't been able to humanize Katie. because Katie has been so far away from the situation. And I think that people in general, in order to humanize somebody, they have to feel like they know the person. Does that make sense? Even if we don't know them at all, we have to feel like we can understand them or relate to them. And the fact that Katie has been so quiet, it puts a lot of people off. Now, Katie has the right to be quiet, but on the same note, if Katie has the right to be quiet, then people have the right to question the quietness. It's kind of a 50-50. So unfortunately, for you come out and talk. You don't have a problem doing that. It is what it is, right? And you speak for Katie a lot of the times, as I would expect you to do because you're her husband, right? That's what we do in the South. My question is there going to be a time that Katie is going to not speak to you two? Because like I've said to you before, I think that's pointless, right? But to go out and speak directly to Sebastian, or respectfully, is the reason that that's not happening because you're worried about whether he would be able to hear it or not? Like, is there a reason that she hasn't directly addressed him?
She has, in some interviews, directly addressed him, especially when people ask the question if Sebastian could hear you right now or he's watching this. Katie has addressed Sebastian directly.
It's been quite some time, though. Would you agree?
Right. And I want everybody to stop for one quick second. I'm going to rewind something here on you. In October, we had Halloween, one of Sebastian's favorite holidays. He's not home.
Right.
Thanksgiving, our family dinner table is incomplete. December 7th, people couldn't leave the day alone.
Sure couldn't.
Christmas is coming up. Once again, we have an incomplete holiday. New Year's,
So she's just
Valentine's Day. And then right after Valentine's Day, what is the next one?
Well, let's hope he's home by then instead of thinking.
Amen. Amen. But everybody wants to know why she doesn't talk. Maybe because she's a grieving mother. Maybe this is one of the worst stretches of the year for any person in this world who has had to deal with a personal tragedy, losing a loved one, anything. It's not that she doesn't want to talk, but respecting the fact.
We lost you, I think. We lost you.
He'll be back.
How about now?
You're
we
good
got
now.
you.
There we go.
Sorry.
There we go.
Well,
Chris, I don't mean to
Diane,
interrupt you for a second. Addison, will you please make a comment so I can mod you? Queen asked me to mod you. So if you'll make a comment, please. Go
No.
ahead.
Reread that. Reread that.
But what I was saying is when she's ready to talk, she'll talk. And I just ask that you respect the facts. It is the holidays. She
I'm
is
so
grieving.
sorry,
Seth
JR.
is grieving. Everybody grieves in their own ways. Just have some respect about it.
Yeah.
I
One
now, a
agree.
lot of people are saying that you guys aren't doing anything. Is there things that you guys are doing that you're just not broadcasting?
We don't broadcast what we do because it doesn't, one, like you said before, it gets twisted.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, sometimes not having what we do broadcasted is actually a lot more effective because we can focus on doing what we need to do. Finding Sebastian, looking into things, whatever we need to do. Sometimes it's best not publicized.
Yeah. I mean, look,
I,
I got a photo of everybody searching and that's torn apart, right?
well,
Oh, Cricket, when we get to that part, I got a story.
I'm going to put this out there, and I can't, God, I can't stand this for the life of me.
Well, can I just say something? There are things
I'm good.
that I have personally heard, and this is not from Chris and Katie. Okay,
I'm sorry, Candy.
there was a situation talking. Y'all know we've been in the neighborhood talking to people. I'm gonna cry. Don't fucking judge me. But there was a neighbor who said the day after he went missing, Katie stepped outside and they just heard this like blood curdling scream. And she was outside screaming his name. And then she just like doubled over and fell on the pavement. And for days, she left a blanket, food, shoes outside for him. And this person was like, it was the most heartbreaking thing. And she was like crying, right? Because my assumption is she's a mom. and that hits you. You know what I mean? It chokes me up. Like, it hits me. I could not fucking imagine that, right? So I understand completely when Chris feels like even something is being insinuated about her. And I understand why he gets upset and immediately wants to come to her defense. He loves her. It's what
Well,
he's supposed to do.
right. Like I said earlier, he's being a protective husband, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why is everybody sitting there speaking for this guy? I just, the level of emotional and psychological impact is wild, isn't it, Cricket?
I get it.
People are going to push back because they're saying already, like, no, you cared more about the truck. To clarify, that right there was going to lead to another 100 live streams saying, boom,
She's
Chris
right.
is guilty. So it's not that he cared about the truck over Sebastian. He cares about, as he said, the misinformation and disinformation, or half of the information being out there that leads to hours of speculation that does not result or even help Sebastian be found because it's not based on fact. So no, he didn't care about the truck. Just being simple-minded.
Well, once again, that's where people, they have their opinions. And I've stated the fact.
Well, opinions don't write a probable cause affidavit, and people need to remember that. Your feelings about people and maybe them being shady or, you know, whatever. And I'm talking to the creators and the viewers. They don't write a PCA, right? You have to have evidence. And as we all know,
That's
right
why,
now there is
you know
no
what?
evidence against
And that's exactly why you're not going to find your kid on YouTube.
anybody. So to start an investigation and hire a private intelligence agency and have them come out the gate after Chris and Katie is wild to me. Wild to me. What kind of intelligence agency starts an investigation with suspects in mind? It's fucking wild. So anyway, your facts, your feelings don't write a PCA.
Actually, some of their feelings did write out a whole.
Well, they wrote out an injunction, but
The
not a
whole
PCA,
injunction.
not a probable cause, right? Come on, you know,
And
like,
that's not even going to.
and you have to be in true. I've been in true crime a really long time. You guys know me from the shows and stuff, but like, you have to be able to bend with the evidence, right? You have to. You can have an idea of something, but you have to.
Do y'all know me from my shows too?
Bend your theory with the evidence. And right now, we all hate it, but there is no evidence, you guys.
Well, yeah, and
that we.
Well, the cops are the only ones that are going to have evidence, right? I mean, why would we expect to have any evidence?
Know about that we know about.
If I may, because I've never had a chance to speak to you, Chris, on a panel or anything, if I may seek this opportunity to ask some of the questions that they are using, basing their feelings on. Did you and Katie take a vacation shortly after Sebastian's disappearance?
To where?
I mean, I don't know. They're all saying you guys went on vacation.
No, we have never, in this whole deal, like, we haven't been on a vacation.
Why are you people telling me to stop? Wouldn't you, like, would you rather seek this opportunity to clear up rumors and hopefully get some solid answers? Or do you guys want to have a little, you know, where we can all powwow and tell everybody how great each other is?
Exactly.
Like, I'm sorry, I'd rather seek this opportunity, but I'll digress. We'll go ahead.
No, don't digress, because you're right. It is the person.
I totally agree. Stop tooting the horns. Get down to the nitty gritty. Now, here's where Granny brings it.
Say whatever the hell you want. Fuck them people.
What he's here for, but all right, you guys can.
No, you're good. Granny, I've got you up here as a guest. If they don't like it, they can leave.
I mean, I feel like these are solid. I don't know. Do we want to waste this away by saying, like, oh, I respect you, well, you respect me, well, this is great? No, I want to hear about Sebastian. What, you know, did you go on vacation? The answer is no. Do your parents own a private jet?
No.
No.
God,
Okay,
no.
now that's out the way.
Are there 5 CPS reports?
I don't know.
Are there 5 that you know about?
Once again, I don't know.
Okay.
Does your family own a crematorium?
No.
Do you
What
know?
else?
Do you know the relative of Yada or Yala? What's her name? Anybody?
Her name is Yada.
Yada.
Katie's Aunt Yada. Can you tell us anything? Does she know Katie? Is she a close relative? Is she a real relative?
She may be a real relative, but I will tell you this. That woman doesn't know Katie. I couldn't tell you last time she saw Katie. And I will say this, because of the negative things that she has said, I hope she hears when I say this. She's not that important to Katie to give 2 flying shits about.
Fair enough. Now, Chris, your mother has recently been vocal, and I assume it is in protection of you. People keep making jokes like mom was bullying all that, but I'll be damned, we'd all do the same for our kids. But she is going at it. Is that really your mother's account on Facebook? Are you aware? Is that a real account?
My mother does have a Facebook account. Unless you show me what you're referring to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, there have been people out there that have made accounts saying they're me, and they're not.
We saw that in the backstage.
Oh yeah, I have another one. Were you and Katie in Oregon in March?
Nope.
Okay. Were you ever suing a company when you were a janitor?
Yeah.
First, never been a janitor, and
I didn't think so. Okay.
That gentleman's from Pennsylvania, and
Yes, he is.
They intentionally put that up there to make it appear as this Chris Proudfoot, damn well knowing they are two separate people.
I know. I'm just asking because you gotta get it out, right?
And here's another one, and you can, of course, as you always feel comfortable saying, I'm not answering. But is it true that you all rented out your house over the summer?
Oh my God.
We haven't sold our house. We haven't rented our house. We haven't moved. We still live in the same house.
Or the dogs. Let's clear that up. The dog's still there.
Yeah,
When
the
you
dogs are
were
still there.
when you were 7 years old, did you father a child?
Yeah, that's
no.
another.
That would be very interesting, but no.
Okay.
No.
Has Dog the Bounty Hunter knocked down your door?
No.
No.
Dog the Bounty Hunter has yet to even try to contact me directly.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
So I'll put that out there.
Okay.
Now, there's quite a few of them, so let me get out my notebook. But no, seriously. So, are you aware? Do you have a neighbor near you that is in contact with YouTubers that you're aware of?
I don't know who does what in my neighborhood,
Okay.
other than the households that we've been able to talk to, and they've been extremely helpful.
Yeah, it was
in the very
momming it
beginning of the
up.
investigation, and even until now.
So I guess momming it up was in the back, trying to get in under Chris's name.
There might be one or two who do not.
Me too, two old crows.
Most of my neighborhood doesn't even know us.
Right.
They've never even spoken to us. It is a quiet neighborhood. It's sad that once again it goes back to YouTube and people just doing things just to be malicious.
Yeah. Now I have another question. So I'm sure you're aware the Texas Roadhouse footage that had came out, and I'm sorry that was released on his birthday. I can't fathom what that did to you, Katie, and even Seth. But in that footage, are you aware? Did Sebastian have a cell phone with him that night?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Okay. And then I guess would you want to know then what Kate if Katie was taking photos of Sebastian, and if so, where they did she send you a photo of him that night at the Texas Roadhouse, or do you have any idea
Yes,
what those photos were?
she took a photo. Yes, law enforcement knows exactly what the photo was and who it went to. And to clarify that, it went to me.
And I'm gonna guess that
So yeah, they ask him and he says, yes or no. I mean, Granny's not pushing the issue, which, is probably smart because then he's going to double down. But, hold on. Where was that comment? Oh, he knows about creator on creator drama, but unaware of why his mom writes on Facebook and groups about his son. Yeah, that he didn't want to answer, I don't think. It'd be nice to know if that's a troll account because he does say that there are accounts made of his mom. So I think I wish he would have solidified, hey, no, my mom isn't in groups.
his face is kind of in his salad eating.
Yes.
It's actually showing him eating all of his food.
Yeah, so of course they can't use that for the TBI poster, right?
Right.
It's not a frontal face picture. It's dimly lit. And it's not like Katie and Chris or Seth pick the picture TBI uses, you guys.
Well, that was my next question. So I've been curious about this myself. Why does it appear that every photo we have available of Sebastian is at a younger age and does not fit with what he looks like today?
So any of the photos that Katie and I have been able to provide to law enforcement have been the most accurate, up-to-date photos. What Seth provides, and I don't know what he provides, so I'm not going to try to speak on that. That's not fair. I don't know what he's provided to Ellie or to whatever else. I know what he has in some of his videos and things like people put out there, and he's had some tasteful like his memories. Those are his memories. And no, we're not going to give people every single memory. Those are ours. Keep in mind, we are parents.
Right.
We have our own moments that we cherish deeply.
Mhm.
That's not for everybody in this world to know. Those are for us. All three parents know them.
Now, there was a video put out of a classmate at one of the gatherings for Sebastian, and she gave a FFA award. Were you aware that he was supposedly doing this class via the internet?
I don't know anything about it, so I can't speak on that.
And this is going to be a tougher question. Again, you don't have to answer, but were you mandated not to be allowed in the house in the month of February?
No, I was never mandated not to be at my house.
Okay. See,
Okay.
You said on the
right
Nancy
here, I wish that they would have asked, were you allowed to be around Sebastian? Were you around, not the house, but were you to be away from Sebastian? That's what I would have asked.
Grace show that you were last in the house at the beginning of February, but that you couldn't say why, or I can't remember the
No, I
exact
said I
verbiage.
couldn't tell you the exact date, and I'm
Oh, okay.
still not going
Okay.
to tell you the exact date.
If I guessed it, would you tell me?
Once again, ma'am, I'm sorry, but that is
I'm
one
teasing.
thing that law enforcement asked not to be released.
Mm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I said that in an interview a long time ago.
Mhm.
Law
Now,
enforcement does not want that information out there. I am not releasing it. It's just know the last time I saw Sebastian was early February
Okay.
until I came home February 26th. That's all I can tell you.
Okay. I
Now,
understand.
this green hoodie guy, do you know anything about that? Can Katie explain, or can you explain why this gentleman was next to the car? What that actual, like, what was happening in that footage? Is that footage correct?
What I can tell you about that is law enforcement has talked to Katie. They've answered. She's been able to answer all their questions. And once again, there is nothing to that situation. I mean, law enforcement even put out a statement. Has nothing to do with it. Has nothing.
Right.
No, that would be the result of, Seth being so vocal. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, and to be fair, they're saying Green Hoodie's a suspect, Venezuela gangs are suspects. Now we got a local YouTuber slash pastor that's a suspect. So they're just swinging out the suspect.
Well, I mean, if we're going to go that route, then everybody in this world's a suspect, technically, because we don't have any answers. Like I said, God, we wished we did. We want nothing more than Sebastian to come home. But once again, we have nothing. There is nothing.
Now, Chris, you made a statement once, and I may be misquoting it, but you said the best thing about Sebastian, I don't think you said the best thing, but you said something about Sebastian disappearing. He left no clues. What did you mean by that?
No, I didn't say the best thing about Sebastian disappearing.
Okay.
I said, as it stands right now, this boy has vanished, and there's no clues.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said.
And another statement they take that you said, and they twisted about is, this is going to go down in history.
Yeah, that was a conversation that I had with law enforcement, and they, too, themselves, when we had this discussion, was like, there's nothing. And when I said, this would be a case that will be studied,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it will wind up being in a book. Because once again, we have nothing, no leads, no nothing on Sebastian's whereabouts, his disappearance, nothing.
Well,
And once
I think
again, if somebody's got something, please bring it. Bring it forward. Let us know.
Chris, what about the trash trucks? Can you explain why both you and Seth believe that or at one point or another believed the footage to be of a trash truck?
Law enforcement showed us a video. Seth has said the same thing. I've said the same thing. We all saw the same video.
here's what I want to say. First of all, I think this has been an incredible conversation, and I think that the people on this panel specifically truly have the intention of wanting Sebastian home safely, and heaven forbid it not be in the manner that we wish, that he's brought home regardless. And I think that it's important that adults are able to have these conversations, right? I also think that there's been such a massive amount of information that's been shoved in all of our faces over the last 10 months that sometimes it's really hard to differentiate between facts, fiction, and bullshit. And I think we're kind of at that point right now. It's really hard for just an everyday person to imagine that a 15-year-old, now 16-year-old young man can just literally disappear. And I think it's just natural in human, minds to think that that couldn't happen without somebody doing something nefarious, right? And I think, unfortunately, it does put the parents in the crosshairs a lot of the times. And in this case, it most definitely has. I really wish that law enforcement would come to a point where they could clear the parents. And I think when they do that, this case will go forward. Until law enforcement comes out and speaks on the innocence of the parents or the guilt of the parents, we're going to have this issue continuously.
And I understand what you're saying, but in realistic terms, in the state of Tennessee, there are still missing children, and the parents have not been cleared. TBI, law enforcement, will not come out and give a definitive answer until they actually have something. And unfortunately, as much as that sucks, I mean, you have the Wells family, for God's sakes, going, what, on 4 years coming up? And they still haven't been cleared.
Yep.
So they, until they have an answer, nobody's going to be cleared, period.
Oh, Chris, I do have a question. Are you related to the Wells in any way?
No, I've never met the Wells.
Okay.
Chris, do you think? Sorry, Drew.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
Do you think
Where'd that come from?
law enforcement is? Do you think they have any ideas or?
I mean, still to this day, as it stands right now, there's no leads. There's no nothing. I mean, it's an active investigation, and that's where it's at. I wish there was more. God knows, I wish I had answers.
Do they
nothing.
meet with you guys and give you guys updates or anything? You don't have to tell us what the updates are, but do you talk to them? Like, do you have a relationship with them?
Well, keep in mind, all three parents have a relationship with law enforcement,
Sure.
whether it's a good one or a bad one. Regardless of how everybody
whether
wants to make
it's
it
good or
sound,
bad.
there's a relationship with law enforcement. There is information that converts back and forth on all three sides.
I'm going to drop the link in the chat for SF if you want it, sir. If you don't want to jump here, that's fine too. But I saw you in the chat, so I wanted to drop it for you.
No, Chris. Sorry, Chris.
I know that we are hitting Chris with a lot of questions, and he, whether he knew that was going to happen or not, I'm sure he knew coming on my panel he would probably get hit with some questions. But I do want to take a second for everybody to take a breath, right, and just kind of take a second, because there have been a lot of questions thrown. And I also have heard quite a bit of emotion, not only from Chris tonight, but also the panel guests. And I think that emotion is raw. I think it's real. And I think it's something that is unfortunately refreshing to hear and see. I think sometimes it takes what I call rehumanizing the human in order for us to remember what the purpose is. And I think through the last 10 months, unfortunately, the humanization of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers has been diminished. And I just want to take a second to remember that beyond all of our own personal opinions or the way we look at this case, excuse me, that there is a young man that is missing. And there are families that are, heavily, heavily affected by it. So I just wanted to take a second to kind of calm everything down and just kind of, because I know that I can come across harsh sometimes, but I also know that other people can as well. And I want to say this to the folks in the chat. Earlier, you heard me and Chris going back and forth. Don't confuse what me and Chris were doing as arguing, right? That's a conversation. I am aware that there are people who don't understand aggressive conversations, okay? I understand them. Chris understands them. It gets places. We started off talking about, some differences and questions and things. I had no idea Chris was going to jump up here. I'm glad he did, right? He's able to speak on some things. I also think that it's important for us to remember that it is okay to have questions or to suspect people. What is not okay is to outright call someone a murderer, right? It's and here's the thing. Sonny says I should apologize. Sonny, you can kiss my ass. I don't have to apologize for anything, okay? I don't apologize for my feelings or my thoughts. I speak my mind and I stand 10 toes down. If you don't like it, there's a door.
Oh, he's 10 toes down with Brittany. Truth. Thank you, Alabama Nana, for your $2 super chat. I appreciate you too, babe. Happy holidays. 10 toes down. Larry, so let's put ourselves in their shoes. Could any of us blame the public for side-eyeing us based on 15-year-olds don't just walk out on a February night with never to be seen again? Exactly. Rico Ricardo. I wonder if any of them Googled Summer Wells before Sebastian went missing. Green hoodie guy was cleared, but the parents haven't been. Got to remember, that means all three have not been cleared by police publicly. Why do we forget that? Because Seth is the one out there running his mouth every day. He's got this whole group running their mouths for him. But we got to remember, they didn't clear any of them. The green hoodie guy, they talked to them. Had nothing to do with it. One and done. But they're playing the what if game with Sean over here.
Well, right. So let me piggyback on that for a second.
Sure.
We have conversations. We're humans. We have.
We lost you again.
How about now?
Now we got you.
So we're all humans and we all have conversations. We have emotions, and that's what makes it so interesting. Aggressive, passive aggressive, whatever. Having a conversation is great.
Thank you, Melissa.
Not having a conversation is not great. Sebastian's name stays out there for conversations. Keeping him in the forefront is the point of this. I'm not going to bash. I'm not out here. I'm not going to sit here and say that this person's horrible, this person's this. That's not. I stand by what I said before. I thank everybody out there for being able to keep his name in the forefront. Katie says that she thanks everybody for keeping his name in the forefront.
Yeah, I don't think Rico meant like their Google searches are getting him in trouble. I think what Rico meant was they seem to know the Summerwells case. Why can't they clear the parents till he's found? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. They can't clear the parents till he's found. If they can prove that someone was at work on camera, they could clear them. They start with the inner circle when they're looking for a kid. They have to clear that inner circle first, then they move outwards. They, to us, publicly, they haven't cleared that first inner circle of Sebastian's circle. It's weird. I don't know why you guys think they can't clear people until he's found. That doesn't make sense. That's part of their investigation, is clearing the parents first, just like they try to clear like a spouse. If a woman or man goes missing, they try to clear that spouse first. Yes, they cleared Brandy. I mean, that's how investigations work. You go through alibis, you try to clear people to rule them out so that you can find your suspect. To think that 10 months in they haven't, done that is wild.
But
That's not true though, Salty. They can't clear them until they know what happened though. LE won't clear until suspect found, and that's not true. Who's Tyler? Who's Tyler? I don't even know who Tyler is. But Michael Monkey Vaughn's mom was cleared by LE, and he hasn't been found. They clear people all the time. Huh? Tyler. Why isn't Tyler cleared yet? What do you mean? Why would Tyler even be questioned? Because someone on YouTube said it? I don't think he has anything to do with this case. Talk about a waste of resources. They got to clear that inner circle. If they can't clear the parents, how can they look at Tyler Feller? I mean, it's weird. Thank you, Regina. Protocol and investigations is everything. All parents are equal suspects. 10 most in for good reason, period. I don't know what. 10 months in for good reason, period. I mean, we saw them say, don't harass people in our town because of the green hoodie guy. They put a statement out, right? They put a statement out. If it's a law, show me the law. I want to see the law in Tennessee that says you can't clear parents if their kid's missing. It's just some YouTuber that they brought up that's a pastor there. It doesn't mean anything. Where's the confirmation that they even go to that church? Who knows? I just feel like there's a lot more going on, because if they're going to put a statement out saying, this person was not involved in Sebastian's disappearance, but they won't do that for the parents, and Katie was being threatened to the point she had to leave home, and they still didn't put out a statement. Katie's life was in danger, and they didn't put out a statement. What does that say to you? They don't even know. We didn't even know if green hoodie person was a guy or a girl. We don't even know the gender of that person. Yet they put out a statement saying that person wasn't involved so that innocent people didn't get harassed. But Katie Proudfoot, the mother of Sebastian, is getting her life threatened, and they don't put a statement out saying she had nothing to do with it? Make that make sense. Why wouldn't they? You think protecting his mom, if she's getting threatened and she's not a suspect, would be, priority number one. Don't you? I mean, that makes sense to me. Lip locked. I have researched this. Tennessee does not have any such law. I didn't think so. Exactly, Misty. And why not put out a statement to save Katie Proudfoot's life if she's being threatened and she had nothing to do with it? You know what I mean? You would think if they were cleared and vetted, they would do that to let the public know, don't harass this mother. She's cleared. She had nothing to do with it. This truly happened after she went to bed. They can't do that. Why? You got to wonder.
Just ask respectfully as we can. Enough with the bashing. That's it. Nobody owes anybody apologies unless you felt like you need one. But
I have a question that's kind of Sebastian going missing related, if you don't mind.
yes, ma'am.
So I went and compared the TBI posters of other missing children, and they're all pretty specific. Like this child went missing from his residence on this day. This person went missing and was seen in this car on that day. Sebastian says went missing in the area of Stafford Court on February 26th. Does that mean anything to you? Does that, do you, or can you say, because it's a little confusing. Do you know any information that you could share about that?
Honestly, we didn't even know that the FBI was releasing that.
No, the
until
TBI,
or
I'm sorry.
Well, honestly, we don't anything that they put together. We are not privy to.
Okay.
Okay.
This was important to me. Let me know what you guys think. Okay. So she's asking a great question. So she's like, it says in the area of Stafford Court. Does that mean anything to you? What's his response? I didn't know that the FBI was putting that information out. Does Chris know about Sebastian being seen either on camera, some kind of sighting? And he's like, wait, I didn't know they were putting that out. And then she's like, oh no, that was on, that's on the TBI flyer. They cleared Audrey Cunningham's mom. Yep. They do it all the time. I'm not going to argue with that. I've watched enough true crime to know that they do that. I mean, the show, the Dateline I was on for Heidi Broussard's case, they cleared her boyfriend as well. So, yes, Jay, Chris has said several times he can't answer. I feel YouTube has crossed the line on this case. I've never seen anything like this. Creators have become entitled and think they are equal to LE. That's my opinion. He knows more that he can't say per LE, in my opinion. I get that feeling too.
Area of Stafford Court on February 26th. Does that mean anything to you? Does that, do you, or can you say, because it's a little confusing. Do you know any information that you could share about that?
Honestly, we didn't even know that the FBI was releasing that.
No,
until,
the TBI, I'm sorry.
Well, honestly, we don't, anything that they put together,
we didn't know they were, okay, whether it's TBI, FBI, CIA, we didn't know they were releasing that. We didn't know that they were releasing that. It doesn't matter what the three letters are. We didn't even know that they were releasing that. Like they knew they had it, but they didn't know they were releasing it. Not, oh, we didn't know that. No, we didn't even know that they knew that.
No, the
Until-
TBI. The TBI. I'm sorry.
Well, honestly, like we don't anything that they like put together. We are not privy to.
Okay.
So we wouldn't know what they're putting out until they either call us and say, "Hey, X, Y, and Z." And it's normally when that happens, it's like, "Hey, within a few moments or an hour or so." So normally when the information comes out, as you're finding out, we're finding out too. You know,
Okay.
I mean, we don't know.
So we don't know if that means anything. We don't know, right? Is what we're saying. We don't know if that means anything. But it is perplexing because in the area of Stafford Court has always been kind of like, did somebody see him? Yeah, did somebody see him?
Well,
so, okay.
There's been no sightings. But speaking
Well,
of new
But hold
updates,
on. So there's been no sightings by people, but is there somewhere footage
I wish
that
they
does
would have
see
let
him?
Chris
And
talk.
I want to piggyback off of what you were saying there, Body. Compare the flyers from like the FBI with other kids, and it says, like we did one the other day, Truth had brought up this girl and we looked at the flyer and it was very specific, like the whereabouts of her, or like basically the reward was for like any information on the whereabouts or the prosecution of those responsible for her disappearance. And if you read Sebastian's, it literally only says the whereabouts.
right?
I don't have an answer for that because we don't know what they put on the posters. We're not privy to that. We don't know why they put whatever they put on those posters. We don't.
Now, are you
Sorry.
aware that they have recently announced that this is a criminal investigation?
Okay, we don't know why they put it on the flyers, but they just told Chris he was seen in the area of Stafford Court. If you weren't aware of that, isn't that something you'd want to call? 10 months in, you're not aware that the flyer says seen in the area? I don't know. Alabama, I appreciate that. And Lip Locked, I appreciate that too. I don't know everything, but I do have some experience here.
Do you know if that's true?
So a while back, a long time ago, I think somebody made a FOIA request to their legal department. Their legal department released something, and then they had to go back and redact it because they said a criminal investigation. And I believe somewhere along the lines, either a reporter or somebody had to do a redaction, and it's an active investigation. Still to this day, that's all we know.
Okay. So creators, or where did it originate? I mean, you guys are all stuck on the word privy because your maturity levels are big. But did it come from Dog that said he spoke with them and they said today?
Yes.
Right. So Dog said he spoke directly with them and they confirmed, but you're saying you're unaware of that.
Well, didn't Nick Barris say it too a couple months ago?
But he's saying that was a mistake.
Oh, okay. Okay.
At Night Media put it out and said that it came from Dog. He spoke with them.
Well, once again, look at your source.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is a criminal investigation, simply because runaway is a crime.
And guess what? If it is, then it is. Who cares?
Since when is running away a crime?
In Tennessee, it is.
In Tennessee, it is a crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guarantee you there's not a $50,000 reward because it's a crime to run away. I can promise you that the FBI is not going to put out $50K for a kid that ran away. Ain't happening.
You're 18.
That's actually if you're under 16 in Tennessee.
Yeah.
But
really quick too, I just want to say for people asking about the tattoos, because Chris is in a case with that, we can't. He won't be able to talk about anything with her, you guys. So it's just a waste. It's a waste of question, unfortunately.
Someone brought something up a second ago, and I'm going to address it because apparently people think I say things I'm afraid to stand on it. What I said was, I believe Katie's not talking because Katie messes up her story. I said that earlier, and I stand on that. That's not a good or a bad. Some people aren't good with public speaking. They get to stutter and they say the wrong thing, and then it's used against them. I said what I said. It doesn't mean that she's changing her story because she's lying. It's because you want to make sure and not fuck up on a public platform where somebody can then go and use that against you.
I mean, let's not even front because Chris is here. There's some shady shit. All right. Like, let's just say it is. There's some
Oh,
things
for sure.
and that's natural. And I think Chris has already stated he understands that.
Yep.
He understands that people are going to have their speculation or their questions, and he wishes he could tell everything to solve some of that, but unfortunately he can't. But I do wonder why the fuck you don't put out lawsuits on people. I'm just going to be quite frank. I don't get it.
One, I'm not making money.
Oh, you guys aren't rich?
No, we don't have all that stuff that people have said we have. We don't. I mean, it's
well,
ridiculous.
And I'm going to say, I have to say too, like, you can't, people think that just because there's like people talking on the internet,
right,
bad, you can't just fucking do that. You can't get a restraining order. I know Truth was saying this earlier. Well, how come he gets a restraining order on Betty, but not on dog, there has
did
to
say
be
that.
a physical threat. Like that is not
Right.
how the legal system works, guys.
Well, listen,
Nobody
well, with
should
all,
be able
with
to
all
talk
due
on
respect,
let me help.
No, there doesn't have to be a physical threat. You can get a restraining order for harassment, defamation, things like that. It can be verbal. 100% can be verbal. There doesn't have to be a physical threat. They most certainly could try to get a gag order on dog, especially if they have, if they're innocent. You know what I'm saying? If they've been cleared.
Help y'all with this real quick. When it comes to lawsuits and this and that, every case, every situation is different. Okay? Every single thing is different. I'm not going to sit here and tell people why or what I am doing or what I'm not doing or why I'm doing this or why we're not doing that. No.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, we'd be out here for hours and days and weeks for that crap. However, look, people are held accountable for what they say. They're held accountable for their actions. I'm not going to sit here and tell people why or what I am doing or what I'm not doing or why I'm doing this or why we're not doing that. No.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to sit here and talk about what for hours? I mean, isn't that what's getting them crucified, and he doesn't want to be crucified? So tell us a little bit more. I don't know.
I mean, we'd be out here for hours and days and weeks for that crap. However, look, people are held accountable for what they say. They're held accountable for their actions. Leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
If people would just have compassion, and before they opened up their comments and all of their statements, and they actually thought about some stuff or put together the facts before they went forward with things, there wouldn't be very much to talk about. You could go back and look at things and put the
Yep.
pieces together and be like, oh, well, that's not possible because of X, Y, and Z. People are doing it because they have their choice of doing it and they have their reasons for doing it. And that's that simple. We just ask stop with the bashing.
Stop with the bashing. That's what he asked. This is what he wanted, I guess, at the end result. Because Diane says, if you have nothing to hide, you don't hold your tongue. I don't think I would call this an interview, though, guys, in all fairness. They were live for like 2 hours having a panel discussion. Something triggered Chris to talk about his truck, and he came up on panel. So I wouldn't, in all fairness, call this an interview, because it's virtually impossible to conduct an interview with 5-on-1. Virtually impossible on the fly. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't think it was planned at all. They were live for 2 hours. You can go watch the whole thing. Here's the link. You can watch the whole thing. There was like 2 hours prior to Chris even coming up. So there's the whole video if you want to go watch it later.
Diane Highland says, if you have nothing to hide, you don't hold your tongue. Well, Diane, let me explain something to you, ma'am. When you're dealing with a child under the age of 18, there's a lot of things you should hold your tongue about. It's called respect. Maybe that will sink into you. You do not openly speak about certain things when it comes to a child under age. And if you don't understand that, I would suggest you get as far away from any case that involves a child as possible.
Yeah, none of us want to disparage Sebastian in any capacity.
Yes,
None of us.
Lindsay.
And I don't think any creator does, honestly. I'm speaking for all of them. None of them want to disparage Sebastian at all.
Once again, if you are a parent, would you want this happening to you and your family and your children? Ask yourself that very question. Don't answer it publicly, just ask it internally.
I mean, I think there's a lot of good conversation being had. I mean, I don't know if any of it specifically goes to help bring Sebastian home, but we don't know what will bring him home and what won't. So I think any conversation is good and productive.
Yeah, and that's a fine line we have to walk, right? Truth, like
it's a real fine line.
It's a real fine line, right?
And just because y'all want to know doesn't mean you deserve to know, and just because some of us know doesn't mean we want to know. Right? There could be things that people know that we would rather not know.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, everybody has trials and tribulations growing up, some greater than others, right? And if your worry and your concern is to bring Sebastian home, then the other shit doesn't matter. It just doesn't, in my opinion. Not when it has to do with Sebastian.
You said we don't know what will bring him home. We don't know if anything said in this conversation will help. But the one thing I can see absolutely helping is exactly what Chris has asked for. No bullshit. Because if you really think about that, right? If everybody, regardless of their opinion, is truly, genuinely in their heart.
Let me correct that. I guess he maybe wasn't casually watching. He was messaged, is what he said, and that's why he came up. Thank you, Nicole. Oh, and Nicole, thank you for your Cash App yesterday. I didn't see it until after the live. Thank you, hon. And happy holidays to you.
Sebastian home in their own way. If any of us bash any of them, we're deterring them from what could be what brings them home.
But at the same time,
speaking
like,
about,
I do have to say this. I'm true. You know, you're like, you know, my brother, but I do have to say this, right? To be fair, I feel like that same sort of mentality, right? We don't know what's going to bring him home. We are not in this situation. We don't know how we would be. All of that. I think. I mean, it is a little angering because I've heard you, you know, say on more than one occasion. And why is Katie not out here screaming from the rooftops? Why aren't they saying what they do in public, right? And it's like I don't understand how there's both sides of the coin on that.
Well, let me explain. I think that Katie can come out here and scream from the rooftops to Sebastian, and I don't think it should be on social media at all. I think it should be on a major news outlet where he may be likely to see it. I think that if he doesn't have access to the internet, right, which would be likely because by now he would have.
This is where it gets good, where everybody's going to reach out to all these high profile shows on behalf of the Proudfoots to get them on the show.
Tried to reach out to somebody, in my opinion, right? And so if Katie was to go on, let's say, Court TV or CNN or whatever, right? Then if Sebastian has some type of access to a TV, that might give him the little bit of encouragement that he needs to hear his mother's voice.
But she did. You know what I mean?
She did.
And I know of things personally that she does in the background. See, the thing for me when it comes to that,
you have to let me answer the question.
I'm sorry. I thought
you have to, that's what I'm saying. Like, so, but for me, it has nothing to do with her owing anybody answers. I've never said that she needs to come out here and answer anybody's questions. Have I?
I mean,
I've never said
to be
that.
honest, Chris answered already. He said she's not a good head place to do it.
Right.
Like, understood. But hold on. With all due respect, neither is Sebastian.
Right.
He's not in a good headspace being missing. So at some point, I just felt that if she came out and spoke to Sebastian, not Dog, not Nick, not Tom, Dick, or Harry,
right,
but to Sebastian.
I can help answer that very easily. We want to be out there on the major networks, not Court TV, not all this crap from, you know, all these whatever shows that are out there that aren't major, aren't national syndicate news. Like, okay, NBC, ABC. You know, the closest we've gotten. Katie and I was able to get on Fox News in the morning with Lawrence Jones, Brian Ansley. Like, we got on there. Katie was able to get on Patrol Live and do one. But I feel, because of such negativity that has taken place with everybody that surrounds this case, a lot of major news networks don't want to pick it up.
Right.
And that is a disservice to Sebastian.
Hold on, though. Y'all, I gotta challenge you on this one, bro, because y'all turned down 3 interviews now after a court date where y'all could have gone on there and not answered any questions other than speaking to Sebastian.
Wait a minute. What did I said? National news.
Well, I'm not Court TV be national news?
No, Court TV is not national news.
Well, and they're biased. Let's be honest.
They're very biased.
Okay. Court TV is national news. Court TV is national news. Every news is biased. Every freaking news station has bias. Are you kidding me? Why not local? Isn't that where your kid went missing from? None of this makes sense. Why would you be choosy? Why would you be choosy? Go on there and don't talk about Dog the Bounty Hunter. Don't talk about Nick. Talk about your son.
I gotta challenge you on this one, bro, because y'all turned down 3 interviews now after a court date where y'all could have gone on there and not answered any questions other than speaking to Sebastian.
Wait a minute. What did I said? National news.
Well, I'm not Court TV national news?
No, Court TV is not national news.
Well, and they're biased. Let's be honest.
They're very biased.
No, I don't disagree that they're not biased. But what I'm saying is that not an opportunity to still speak out?
That is not. So what we're trying to do, Court TV is not something that somebody turns on in the morning when they're getting their cup of coffee and they're getting ready or they're driving down the road.
You need like a Today Show.
Yeah, we want something major.
What? Court TV is not something that people wake up and listen to with their coffee. Yeah, they do.
And I'm sorry, but Court TV is not a major network that will be able to push them. Their narrative on their show is to draw a story, get their viewership. That's what they want. It doesn't help the situation. We want.
Wow, they really, you know what? Court TV really helped Harmony Montgomery and her bio mom. They sure did. They sure did. Do you remember how powerful Vinny was during Harmony Montgomery's case? See, the people that actually follow true crime know these things. No offense. No offense. You can... I can't.
I want people from coast to coast, border to border, to be able to hear it on a news. And not all local news networks do.
All right, Chris,
so we
you
need
tell
to
us.
get the big ones.
Have you actually tried?
Hold on, Chris.
Yes, we are currently trying. We are.
Hold on, Chris. You tell us. What news network do you want to get on? And there's 2,600.
Hold on. And I have another thing to say. So I know about affiliates. So like every local station is an affiliate of a major news network. So let's say you work with ABC Nashville, right? They can try to get that to the main national ABC News and get a snippet on the national news from the affiliate. Okay. They're not completely severed. Like WKRN is either Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS. It's affiliated with a major network. This is all just blah, 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 is what it is. That's what it is.
29 people in here that can send an email to that news source. Let us help y'all get on whatever channel you want to be on.
NBC, ABC, CNN. I don't care how big, as long as it is one of the big major networks that can get us from coast to coast on all these TV channels. Not your local news.
Mm-hmm.
Local news, yeah, they pick it up. I mean,
well, maybe they should go on Vinny and counteract what Seth did. I don't know. I mean, he's on here counteracting shit. Why not do it on Vinny? I don't know.
Look what's going on. You got Channel 2, you got Channel 5, but it's not really pushing the case. It's the crap. We don't
Would you
want
guys-
crap. We want
Speaking of Channel 2,
Sebastian.
Would you guys do like a Dateline type of show?
I would love to get them involved. They've got 60 million followers.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
let's do this.
speaking of Channel 2, what do you think of the 200 and
Dateline's not going to do shit with this unresolved fuckery of a case. Dateline might reach out to Ellie if they get enough interest in this case, which I'm sure they're already aware of this case. Dateline would talk to Ellie about what evidence there is and find out there is none. And I don't think they'd touch it. I don't think Dateline would get near this mess. That's my opinion.
26, 225, 155 reward. Have you heard about this? Now 250 reward that, and I know News 5 actually reported it. What do you think about that?
Hold on. I don't want to be rude. We can go to that question in just a second, Granny. I want to emphasize what we were just talking about, not to cut you off.
No, sorry.
So, chat, you heard what Chris said, right? So if one of my moderators or two of my moderators will do me a favor, if you will please find an email for Dateline, a producer, something, and put it in the chat, please. Go ahead, Granny.
I have contacts at Dateline. I have contacts at Dateline. I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
Well, that's awesome. You can also tweet them.
You know,
Granny, we all take to Twitter. But yeah, if you don't mind, do you have any foot on this ever quickly raising reward?
Yeah, so my answer to that reward is real simple. The only actual reward that is known is the $50,000. You've got At Night Media and Dog and all them saying that they have X number of dollars. Well, Dog did say on a thing that somebody clipped it, and they have promissory. So that I don't really care about a reward, to be honest with you. Because God knows if we had the money, I would raise that thing as high as I could. But we don't have the money. FBI put out $50,000. That's what we know of. I don't care to talk about the other group. I really don't.
I understand that. Now, I did find, I asked you about, is it true that this could possibly be your mother? And again, if you're not comfortable, but it would help people, but I understand if not. She made a statement about the age of 12 and the age of 20. Can you confirm or not confirm the age at which Seth and Katie met?
I'm not going down that road. I'm not.
Okay,
It doesn't. There's enough of that out there. People are going to come up with their own decisions, and whatever. In the end, that's between Seth and Katie. It does not necessarily need to be out there for the world to sit here and go back and forth on it. It's not.
Okay. How about a different one? How about can you share the meaning of Sebastian's name?
Like how he was named?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
How did Katie come up with the name Sebastian, and where did Wayne and Drake come from?
So his name came up by both of his parents. Sebastian, which, we all say Sebastian, but it's actually Sebastian from the kid from
Machete. It's actually Sebastian. Do you remember too when he said one of the searchers was Mikkel? Why does all of this have this little French? Thank you, Nicole G. Sleuths. Welcome, sleuths. Aw, it's so good to have you, sleuths. Happy holidays to you and Pancake. I like seeing sleuths in green.
Sebastian, which, we all say Sebastian, but it's actually Sebastian from the kid from Never Ending Story.
Never Ending Story, right? Sebastian.
That's where she got Sebastian's first name.
I love that.
Machete.
Wayne, if I remember correctly, I believe is the name of Seth's father. And Drake is something I believe he gave Sebastian, as Drake is also known as a baby dragon.
Okay, my husband and I were watching this last night, and he goes, "The fuck? A baby dragon?" So that explains the dragon logo that Seth uses. He gave him that name after a baby dragon. So that's thank you, sleuths. I appreciate that. It's good to have you here.
And Drake is something I believe he gave Sebastian, as Drake is also known as a baby dragon. And that's, from what I understood, that's where Seth got that from. And of course, Rogers is his last name.
That's what I heard too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's really sweet.
individual. It's
really sweet.
individual and it's unique. Everybody has a reason for picking the names of their children. You know, I mean, everybody's name is unique. Everybody has a reason that their name is named the way they are.
So then what you're saying is that when Seth said that it was based on prior events and losses, that is not true.
Not to my knowledge.
Well, we don't know that Seth actually said that. It was rumored.
Okay.
Yeah, what he did say is there were priors, but he didn't say that that's where the name came from. So somebody else said that he said that.
I've always heard the story Chris just told. I've never heard any other story.
Yeah, and look, I didn't ask that question for drama purposes. I asked that question because it's going around the YouTube right now. Okay, that's why I started with you can answer or not. But let's be honest, this is the it's what's going around.
I mean, you got two parents that came up with a child's name. I mean,
well,
there's a lot of people that say they
chat,
heard that. Yeah,
the chat doesn't disagree with me. So.
Oh, you guys actually heard him say that?
Yeah, they said they absolutely heard him say that. I haven't, but that doesn't mean anything.
It's on the interview with Coffin Daffer.
I think.
Yeah, I recall him. You know,
I wanted to point. I wanted to point that out.
I don't remember Seth saying that. I don't remember Seth saying those names were aborted babies. I do not remember that. And I watched Coffin Daffer. He talked about their wedding. He talked about the birth of Sebastian. I didn't hear him say those other names were what other babies would have been called. Where did he say that if he did? Where? I need to know where, because I've heard this so many times. I know it makes me want a croissant, Regina. Where did he say it? Like, did he say it outright like that, or are people putting their own interpretation? UA thinks it's T-Rev. I don't remember where it was, but I remember him saying it. Then Trevor backed it up, or T-Rev? He said it outright like that? Oh, wow. See, I guess I missed that. And it's probably gone, right? I just know I've heard it repeated and repeated, but I've never heard it with my own ears. Thanks, guys.
Because that goes to the prior conversation we were having. And once again, it is an opportunity to squash some nonsense, but it also brings into conversation, why would that story have been created?
Right.
So my answer to that is real simple. I don't know why what was said was said. What I do know is what I was told. And that's what I've told you is what I was told. I'm not going down this road to say, well, he said this and it meant I'm not. We're not doing that. Once again, if people ain't figured this out, I'm not going to do the bash game. I'm not going to sit here and try to drag parents through the mud for no reason. It doesn't do anything. Grace and compassion is what needs to be put forth in this entire case because, one, our son is missing. That's the most important thing.
I think that Michelle said it perfectly in chat. Fair enough. And that's true. Fair enough.
I'm not asking no more questions, chat. How about that?
No, Granny, I think you're asking great questions. I really do. I really do.
Here's the thing.
Here's the things that I wish that people would ask about. Ask about his quirkiness.
Yep.
Ask about how he gets proud when he accomplishes something that he hasn't been able to do. Ask about how he is excited when he goes to a hockey game, a football game.
What was his favorite sport? What was Sebastian's favorite sport, Chris?
He loves all sports.
He was a hockey fan, though? He liked hockey?
You
took him to a Predators game?
Well, I wasn't able to attend. I bought tickets, and I had Katie, Sebastian, my aunt, my uncle go to a hockey game. It was a Predators game. Because I told them, oh, man, you go there and you have a good time. You got fang fingers, and you do all fun stuff. And
throw the fish on the ice, right?
Well, they didn't do it that time, but
okay.
Man, I wish we could.
So, do you hear this? This tells me a little more about the dynamics between Sebastian and his stepfamily. Without Chris, I don't know if Katie was there, but he said he got tickets and his aunt and uncle took Sebastian. So, what does that tell you? Obviously, he had contact with his step family without Chris even being there, right?
Could have.
Yeah.
But it's just giving him an opportunity to experience things. And he gets so excited. He gets into like the crowd cheering. You know, it's funny because like in certain cheers, they'll scream like, "You suck." He'll get to that part and he goes, "You," and then he stops on that suck part. He won't.
Because he doesn't want.
Because he
Because
doesn't
it's
want to be
usually
mean.
I'm a big hockey. I go to hockey games every week, and it's usually you're yelling at the goalie. He probably felt bad. He didn't want to make the goalie feel bad, right? Like a sensitive guy that way. You know,
I
I get
mean,
it.
I took him to it was a college bowl game out in California. I believe it was Michigan State. I forgot who they were playing. But he had a blast. Baseball games, football games, all sports, lacrosse. I mean, he has a blast. He loves that stuff.
Chris, SF has a question. SF Investigate says, what is your favorite memory of Sebastian?
With
That's a hard one.
Sebastian.
So they released the pictures of it. Sebastian.
Thank you, Karens.
I had to rent a mini excavator one day. We were doing some landscaping work. And I let Sebastian get on there, and he operated the piece of equipment. He did it really well. Really good at it. I was really proud of him. His mom was worried. You know, of course, moms do the mom thing. He's going to get hurt. No, he's not. He'll be fine, you know. During COVID, when they were out of school and they did, you know, hybrid learning, so they were in class certain days and they were out online certain days or whatever. Sebastian went with me up to a location we had to rebuild a deck. And Sebastian, they never had the opportunities to do certain things, so why not? You know, I gave him an opportunity to use a nail gun, a circular saw, drill, you know, showed him how to like cut and make measurements and things like this. He got so excited. So excited. Just when he does things that he doesn't normally get to do, and he's quick. He's quick to pick up things and excel in things.
So he's intelligent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
I
those
think
are.
go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I think that once again, this goes back to what I said before of rehumanizing Sebastian, and to understand that he is a person, he is a child, he is someone who has a family, has a life, and to rehumanize him is important. I think it's also important to rehumanize the parents as well. We're not always going to agree on different things or how things should be done, but I really do feel like over the last 10 months, the names are being used left, right, up, and down, but the understanding of that, the fact that there are real people behind those names has been lost. So I know that there are some people that feel like, you know, this live isn't good, or it's somehow going to paint Chris or Katie in a certain light. I don't think that's the case at all, and I'm basing it off messages that I'm getting right now. And I think what y'all need to understand is sometimes the greatest understanding of a person is just blunt honesty in the midst of pressure. And you know, I think Chris has come up here and held his own. I think that, you know, anybody that says that Chris won't go head up with a man is wrong, because obviously he jumped up here on my panel and was able to do it in a respectful manner. You know, it doesn't mean that what I think or you think may change, but I do believe that this conversation has caused a couple of y'all in the chat, because you've said it, to reassess the way you were thinking about things. And if one person was able to reassess and change from attacking, then this live did exactly what it should have done.
Yeah. Chris, you mentioned pressure, or Truth just said pressures, and there's been a lot of conversation around this. Was it set in stone that Sebastian was absolutely to start online school? I know Seth had mentioned that he had him enrolled for full time in the fall at Clarksville. Was that happening? Could that have been a pressure point for Sebastian, given that he did love socializing and learning, was a quick learner? Could that have been a point of tension for him, if you will, a worry for him? Is it true?
Possibly could have been a worry for him.
Okay,
I
so
do
it is
know
true.
that Sebastian voiced his opinion. You know, all three parents were having a discussion, including Sebastian. He voiced his opinion. Yes, Seth was going to Sebastian. So at the end of the school year, Sebastian was supposed to go live at his dad's for the summer, and he was going to start school up there. Whether it's online or at the school, I don't exactly remember which one. But
Well, if it was summertime.
When summer was over, he was going to start school.
Okay.
He was supposed to start school up there with his dad.
Now he doesn't remember if it was online or in person.
So yes, at some point he was supposed to go to his dad's house and start school up there. I don't know. I don't know if that was a pressure point or not. I don't.
Okay.
If we're going to go with the idea that maybe he took off, I have to ask this question, and you don't have to answer, but the night that he went missing, the 25th into the 26th, you and Katie were on the phone for 3 hours, reportedly. Were you guys talking about his living situation that night? Did he possibly overhear it and get upset?
Not to my knowledge.
You don't remember talking to her about it that night?
I don't believe that's what we were talking about.
Okay.
So, yes, we were on the phone. Our conversation, what we were discussing, law enforcement knows the discussion of what we were talking about. It has nothing to do with any of that.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure.
Huh. So that's a really good question. Another great question from Body. She says, were you guys talking about that? Regina, I think you're spot on. I know most people don't see it. I'm with you, girl. And that's what makes me think, are these two men, that we're talking every day, trying to come up with a plan? I don't know. But she asks, what were you guys talking about, Sebastian, going to Seth's, and did he overhear something that he didn't want to hear? And then he gets kind of defensive, like, in his response, and then he says, well, law enforcement knows. Law enforcement knows what we were talking about. Kind of like how he told Nancy Grace, like, I can't give the dates. That's right, NH girl. That's never been brought up again either. I forgot about her studying that night, too. You've never heard what she was even going to school for. How come no one has ever asked her that? How come all these people that talk to Chris and Katie have never asked that? I forgot about that.
The 26th, you and Katie were on the phone for 3 hours, reportedly. Were you guys talking about his living situation that night? Did he possibly overhear it and get upset?
Not to my knowledge.
You don't remember talking to her about it that night?
I don't believe that's what we were talking about.
Okay, wait. He says, not to my knowledge, but then he says, oh, wait, LE knows everything we talked about. So does he know or does he not know? Oh, shit. This is a little weird.
Not to my knowledge.
You don't remember talking to her about it that night?
I don't believe that's what we were talking about.
Okay.
So, yes, we were on the phone. Our conversation, what we were discussing, law enforcement knows the discussion of what we were talking about. It has nothing to do with any of that.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out, like, did he hear something?
Everybody's trying to figure out, like,
Yeah.
did he hear something he didn't like? Was there a
Was he
thing that
upset?
could have triggered him?
Right.
Trust me, every single parent bangs their head.
Oh, yeah, business administration. That's right. That's right.
The idea of trying to figure out what could have caused Sebastian to leave.
Mhm.
And we don't know. Once again, there's nothing.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
What's the most telling thing or identifiable thing about him if somebody sees him out there?
Oh man, he's a smile.
Okay.
He's got this quirky little smile he's got, but I mean he walks on the balls of his feet. He always has. He's got
That's important. That's actually really important.
He's got this run, some anime character.
Naruto.
Naruto, yeah.
Naruto.
Yeah, he's like an orange suit or something. I don't watch anime that much, but
I don't watch anime that much. Oh, but do you watch it at all, Chris?
he's got that run like that. He puts his hands up behind him, kind of leans his head forward, and
Full speed ahead.
Yeah.
That's what he does in the cartoon. That's cute.
Was he still wearing that breastplate? The chest guard?
No.
Okay.
No.
Now, there's been some conversation around this. Is it 100% confirmed in your mind that Sebastian was barefoot?
All I can tell you is exactly what I've told everybody before, and I'm not going into any more details. All of his shoes have been accounted for, and so have mine, and so have Katie's.
Okay.
Chris, do you know how many, and this may sound like a random question, but do you know how many pairs of shoes you own?
Yes.
More than 10, less than 10?
More than 10. I will tell you that.
Okay, so you're a shoe guy like I am. Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm very meticulous about my shoes. I can't stand like really pointy shoes.
No,
Can't stand
hey,
like wide toe
dude.
box shoes. Oh, I love my
Hey,
dudes.
dude.
Yeah, I've got a couple pairs of Hey Dudes myself. That and my Crocs.
Can't do the Crocs, man. Can't do the Crocs. They feel funny.
I love
You're
my
losing out.
You're missing it. They're so wonderful.
the greatest things ever.
Uh-huh.
Unless you ask B Tim, and then he's going to argue and want to fight you over it.
Right.
I can't see Chris in Crocs. I'm sorry, but I cannot see Chris in Crocs. I just can't. I couldn't.
I think some pink ones with snow shovels on the front of it, personally.
Hey, now I will tell you this: if you got pink with the breast cancer awareness ribbon, I will support those in support of breast cancer awareness. I will do
All
that.
right.
Oh, speaking of that, a photo's going around of Katie wearing a bracelet that basically, I believe it says, not everything that is lost. Let me pull it up.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Do you know
Yeah.
what that bracelet is? Was that a Sebastian bracelet, or do you know where she received that bracelet from, and what the meaning or organization behind it is?
I would have to see the bracelet. I don't remember of a bracelet like that.
Okay.
I don't have it on me.
I'm looking.
It's a bracelet that says not all who wander is lost. It's kind of like if you get a true crime shirt and it says, I'm basically a detective, or I'm only here for the alibi. It's just a saying.
For it. It was in the interview.
Yeah, had he started like driver's ed or anything like that?
No, I wish he had though.
Okay.
He,
Did you guys ever take him to like the parking lot at the mall and let him drive?
Dude, I don't want to think about men's feet and sandals, Crocs, none of it.
Or anything?
It's funny you ask, because man, I used to like, come on, let's go for a ride, man, and try to talk him like, come on, let's go, let's get in the truck, get in the car, you know, and he wouldn't. He's like, no, I don't have a license, and I'm like, it's just a driveway, man.
So he was like a rule follower. Like, no, I don't even have a license. Like he wanted to follow the law, right?
I think it's like, you know, doing something like that is a little nerving, you know. I mean,
Sure.
remember the first
Sure.
time we all drove?
Oh, I
Like,
was
we were all
excited as
like,
hell.
yeah, like, oh my God, you were excited, but you scared to go
Well,
through and do the wrong thing, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean,
listen, we must have had different bring it ups, because the first one I drove was a stolen car. I'm going to be honest with you. I was a bad kid.
Well, if Sebastian was going to be able to drive, that goes into another question I had. So there's been speculation that Sebastian would have never been able to live on his own. What are your thoughts of that?
One, we're not there at that point in time in life, so I can't really answer that.
Okay.
I mean, he's Sebastian's capable of taking care of himself. Now, do I think he's ready to be out there in his own world doing his own decisions right now? Lord, no.
No, yeah, no, not at all.
I mean, for some children, even when they go past the age of 18, they're still not adults. They're still learning.
No, I get it. I just mean, what do you believe that in his future he's not so disabled that he wouldn't be? You just said it. He's capable of taking care of himself. He was going to be capable of driving a car, so he would have been.
That's one of those things. Like we won't know until the time comes. You know. And I mean, when Sebastian comes home,
Take it from there.
Yeah, one day at a time.
Listen, I do appreciate everybody coming up on the panel. We've been on for a little over 4 hours now, and I wasn't even planning on being on more than an hour.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. I appreciate you coming up and talking. I still.
Can I ask one question before we go?
Sure.
I'm so sorry. I feel like I have to get it all out. You know what I mean? The flashlight, the alleged flashlight that is possibly missing with Sebastian. Can you describe that? Was it like one of those magnolites, like a big flashlight, a medium size? Was it its keychain? What type of flashlight do you all possibly believe it was?
From the way it was described to me, it's like a smaller pocket style flashlight, a little yellow.
Okay.
I don't have any more description to give. Honestly, I'm sorry, but
right, but it would fit in a pocket. That helps a lot. Thank you. And I'm sorry, Truth. Thank you.
No, you're good. I know that people want to take the opportunity to ask the questions they can.
I want to slip in here real fast. I appreciate you letting me up. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I'm just kind of taking it all in, Chris. I appreciate you coming up. I'm just kind of sitting back. That's all.
I appreciate like everything that all the creators do. I don't necessarily always agree with everybody's opinions of their statements, and I respect them. Trust me, but we do appreciate y'all keeping his name out there, doing what you can. Thank y'all. I mean, there's really not much more to say or do on that. Just thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing about Sebastian. And
yeah, I got to learn a lot today about Sebastian, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you.
Well,
I also want to say I'm sorry you have to go through the holidays without Sebastian, and thank you, Truth, for letting me up here.
For sure, no problem. Thank you for coming up. I want to say a couple things before we get off here. When I started this live, I was a little aggressive, and I stand by my aggression, because here's the thing: if you don't have emotion when it comes to this case, are you really invested in Sebastian? If you haven't lost sleep over this case, are you really invested in Sebastian? Because I can tell you with almost certainty that everybody on this panel has lost sleep thinking about what happened to Sebastian. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
No, I have not lost sleep thinking about what happened to Sebastian. Have you guys? I mean, be honest. Let's do a poll. That's unhealthy to me. I would never be that invested, where if I was losing sleep, I wouldn't be on here right now. It's okay if you have, but I feel like that's a little too deep. Have you lost sleep thinking about what happened to Sebastian? I think that's a bit far-fetched. Listen.
When it comes to this case, are you really invested in Sebastian? If you haven't lost sleep.
We're not invested in. What does that mean? Are you invested in Sebastian? If you haven't lost sleep, you're not invested in Sebastian. I'm invested in this case being solved. See, these people like want to be friends with Sebastian when he's found. That's weird to me. That's weird to me. Like Terry Lynn. Oh, I'm gonna buy him a cat and I'm gonna be his friend. He's gonna have me as a friend. What? He ain't gonna want to be your friend. I don't want to be what? I'm invested in him being found and the case being closed. Period.
Over this case, are you really invested in Sebastian? Because I can tell you with almost certainty that everybody on this panel has lost sleep thinking about what happened to Sebastian. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, 100%.
So I'm sure. So, it's one of these things, white boy, I just dropped something for you. It's one of these things where hard questions are not fun. Facing something head on is not always fun. It's not pretty. It doesn't always go as you might plan for it to go. But conversation is what's needed in order for people to progress, right? If you're scared to have conversations because you're afraid of the kickback from other people, get the fuck out of this area of whatever you're doing, right? I'm aware that this live is going to be taken and twisted all apart.
Wait, what was that?
If you're scared to have conversations because you're afraid of the kickback from other people.
He's right, and that's why I'm voicing my opinion. So I don't expect to get any kickback from anybody on this panel for having my opinion about this panel. So let's see how that ages. Okay? Let's see how that ages. Let's play it again.
Always go as you might plan for it to.
Oops. I got booted from my own stream. Did you guys hear me? Did you guys even hear what I said though? No, I think I'm gonna get attacked for having my opinion. But I think I always do.
What Chris meant, or what Katie, or what Clue meant, or what Body meant, or what Granny's watching meant. You got to hear it for yourself, and that's what's so important. That you don't have to be convinced by someone else that it is something that it's not. Excuse me, hold on.
While he's coughing his throat off, if I'm kind of a neutral party, I don't have anything against any other creators. So if anybody wants to reach out to me from like the quote unquote the other side to help facilitate some peace, please don't hesitate. I'm open.
I think at the end of the day, the big takeaway I wish would be had is if there wasn't such backlash every time Chris and Katie, or just Chris, whatever, would come on and talk, you guys, it would literally knock your fucking socks off to know just how much you can
True that,
learn
Vivian.
about Sebastian.
Amen.
Like,
it was unbelievable.
No, well, it's funny because it's literally the tip of the iceberg. What about the fact that he's like obsessed with water talk? Loves all the flavored waters. They even have a water bar. What about the fact that he loves dance parties? What about the fact that there's literally, his mom is literally every day, bro, every day, even in the middle of a work day, stops on the side of the road, puts out a missing sign. It's like there's this brainwashing that has like come over the internet.
Yeah.
To where these two people specifically just don't give a shit about this kid, and it's bullshit. I'm sorry. Like what Drew said, if you don't get emotional, like it's angering to a certain extent, right? Because I've heard stories, and they're good stories, and they really do let you in on who he is as a person. What about the fact that literally, I have no doubt.
Being emotional is one thing. Losing sleep is a whole different level of emotion for me. I don't lose sleep over these cases. That's too much.
My mind. Katie is watching this. I'm not stupid.
I mean, I guess to the people that have met the parents, I can see where that would linger for sure. You know what I mean? Like that would stick with you. But if you haven't personally met them, I don't know.
Sitting there bawling her fucking eyes out by her fucking self, bro. By herself. Like, fuck this. Like, this place is crazy. I'm being dead ass when I say this. These motherfuckers out here are fucking psychotic. Let's go after an innocent fucking creature because it makes certain people look better. Like, I'm so over it. Like, everybody, this live started with, let's cut the bullshit with Chris and Katie and their narrative and what they do. Let's cut the bullshit with all of it. Like, it's fucking crazy to me.
Like,
how
Clue,
the goddamn conversation.
Real people are being put at risk, right, Clue? Like,
right. Like, that's it. They fucking put that shit on me.
I know.
People over here talking about putting shit on my property. I don't understand why that shit is okay, but the fact that Katie won't come out and talk is not, it's a problem. Go to fucking hell with that bullshit, man. Go
well, even
fuck
right
yourself.
now, while Chris is sharing a beautiful story about Sebastian, yeah, people, what boy, are you a noob? You gotta mute us. Yeah, people in the chat tearing apart the things that he's saying, like, oh, you said he could have, It's like you are so determined to hear negativity that you're finding it where it doesn't exist. You have one asshole that's continuously pushing back a live stream because they can't wait to go live and tear this apart. And because of that, you're going to miss all the beauty that was within this stream. And you're going to miss the positivity. And that is why Chris is talking about. You all call all of us hate channels, let me tell you. My heart goes out to all three.
And if you're feeling pressure because like you signed a contract, maybe, or no, I'm being so for real. I'm being so for real. Reach out to me. I mean, there's ways to get around those things, you guys. Like, please don't hesitate. Like, it's ridiculous.
It is like, and I'm sorry, you have to understand my frustration. Like, we have literally put hours out there. I'm talking about in the freezing, 15 degrees, bro, trying to recreate footage to show people, like, look, this is not what it is. This is literally a narrative, and it's been pushed. And every time, I swear to God, every time I do a live and I say something, there's an immediate, like, that girl bad. Oh, she's so vile. She's so nasty. Her mouth. Why do I make you so mad? Why do I make you so mad?
Well, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem because Katie cannot come out and speak, and we don't hear from Chris often. They take what you're saying, they're like, oh, well, she's just saying that because she's, white knighting for them or she's paid by them. And unfortunately, we don't get to hear from them enough, like you said. I mean, I'm thinking I'm cursing you out tomorrow, Chris. You know what I mean? Okay. Just because that's how we got you on a panel. Like, come out more often. There's a lot more people that support you all than you all realize. And at the end of the day, it is the stories about Sebastian that people need to hear to cut out all the other nonsense. And I know I'm guilty of it. I've torn stuff to bits. I haven't shamed him, haven't accused him of a crime, but I certainly don't like the guy. But this is why, because I feel like we are here because of that doing. And if you all can come together and work together, what a blessing that would be. And then you knock all of us out of the water. None of us have contact. I think it would be fantastic.
If you start, considers it. Yep, I think that'd be really good because I really do believe in my heart of hearts that getting to know Sebastian is going to help find him. I really do. And we can't really get to know him right now.
And some updated photos would really help as well.
Well, don't we have the most updated photos though?
Yes, well, we have the footage now as well. But Katie shared.
Yes, what is out there is the most up to date. There's nothing more that we can give. I mean, Sebastian walks in our front door, we'll take a picture and send it to you. But right now, we don't have our son, and that's what we need.
Yeah, I agree. I just think being realistic about Sebastian being a 15-year-old growing a mustache. These constant baby photos that are going around, they're not helping. We have to remember this is a 15-year-old child. He's not 8. The whole, where's the baby? That doesn't help. We have to see Sebastian as he is because you can walk past him on the street and because you're looking for an 8-year-old baby face, you won't realize it's Sebastian. You have to keep the image of him up to date. And I mean that in our minds and in our speech, not necessarily in the photos. Just all together. We have to remember he's not a baby. Chris just told you he's very intelligent. He picks up on things. He's a quick learner.
He's not a little boy. He's a young man.
Yeah, he's 16 now. And my heart goes out to you and Katie having to reach that milestone without him in your braces. And I'm sorry for that.
I don't know y'all don't like him, but it should go out to Seth too because
100% it does. 100%.
Seth had one request, Chris. He asked that on Sebastian's birthday, everybody spend time with their children in honor of Sebastian, and I did it. As much as I dislike Seth, I can recognize that he is a grieving father. I've never taken that from him. I believe he loves Sebastian so much, but I also believe his anger is misguiding him right now, and he found the right people to feed on that, and it breaks my heart.
I think Seth is vulnerable because of what's happening, and people have taken advantage of him. So I give him a lot of grace.
Yeah,
I do.
I personally think Seth, just like Katie, is lonely. I couldn't imagine if my kid were gone.
I can't imagine. I mean, it's his kid too, right? Like, I can't imagine what he's going through. And I get angry. Admittedly, I do get angry at people who I feel are taking advantage of him. And he's a big boy. He can take care of himself. But I do feel, sad for him. I really do.
I'm happy that he's offline and not doing the podcast like he used to. And
I am
too. Just still upset that he's wrapped up with the wrong people. And I hope he realizes.
He just went live though with all his memberships. He's not offline.
their intentions are not good with you or your son. And you'll see me say that in court.
You know, I think that the general consensus here, without doubt, is that it's time for Sebastian to come home. You know, I'm going to continue to do things that I feel are necessary. And if that means protecting Sebastian's name, I'm going to do that. If that means calling out bullshit when I see it, I'm going to do that as well. But none of it's to be done out of anger or out of spite or out of some type of malice
Welcome
intent.
back, Flo.
It's because without transparency, it makes it so much harder to find somebody. And I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, all of this bullshit of this happened, that happened, this didn't happen, this did happen, it's not getting us anywhere. You know, one of the things that was said by Chris was, instead of ask this, that, or the other, ask about things Sebastian liked. Respectfully, I understand that that's a conversation that brings respect to Sebastian. However, I don't think that those things specifically would help find Sebastian. And I'm curious, Chris, if is there something that we should know about Sebastian that may actually help us to identify him if we saw him? Meaning that it's been 10 months. We know the young man was going through puberty. We know that he had started to get a little facial hair. Are there some things that we can look at physically that may not appear the same as the day he went missing?
Right. Like, is there a cowlick in his hair? Does he have a birthmark somewhere? Is his hair blonde in the summer but brown in the winter? Give us something like that.
Yeah.
He does have, he's got this gnarly cowlick when he gets his hair cut and stuff like that. We always have to make sure we either get that one trimmed or we have to leave it lay long. I mean, it stands up pretty gnarly if you don't put product or stuff in his hair. He's got some freckles on his neck, very predominant freckles.
No, they're talking about Seth
There we go. Thank
being
you.
in BJ's chat.
Sorry, I was muted. Freckles on the back of his neck, the side of his neck, or all the way around?
Like if you're looking at, like, you'd be able to see him like on the front of his neck. And if I think it'd be more like predominant to the, it would be, if you're looking at him, his left side, his right side. If you're looking at him, his left side.
Okay. So Chris, I'm going to ask a question that's probably going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to be the last question that we're going to ask tonight, respectfully to the panel. There's a picture that's been highly discussed, and it appears
Just whispered.
to
Hard to say with everybody up there, but
and it appears to the panel. There's a picture that's been highly discussed, and it appears there's a picture that's been highly discussed, and it appears to wait a second, white boy. I'll drop it again. I don't know how you fell, bro. Is that picture something you want to comment on? Do you know what picture I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
There's a picture where it appears that Sebastian has a bruise on his neck. And it's obviously been circling. I think it was one of the ones that may have been on the poster or on the.
It's the optimism
TBI.
sweatshirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his optimism.
Is there a story behind that bruise, or is it something you'd rather not speak about, or you just don't know?
I
Or did
think
the
it's
internet
low.
No.
Okay.
Party fee.
Like, when you look at the original photo, do you see a bruise? Because the internet did this with Summer Wells. They created bruises that weren't there. So
I
maybe-
think you're talking about the one he's in a white shirt, right? And it says like optimism on it.
Yes.
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 Okay. Somebody had to point that out because honestly, if you look at that photo, it looks like it's a hickey.
A hickey? How did I miss this last night? If you look at that photo, look at Truth. He's mid-drink. He's like, what? A hickey? I wish we could see everybody's face right now and freeze on it. Thank you so much, Flo, for your super chat.
Somebody had to point that out because honestly, if you look at that photo, it looks like it's a hickey.
Mm.
That's what it looks like, and I'm not saying that's what it is.
I never even thought of it being a hickey. I've never thought of it being a hickey. Put a 1 in chat if that's crossed your mind. It never crossed mine. That's crazy. I've never heard anybody even say that. Really? A lot of you thought that. I've never seen anyone say it.
Right.
But it's like, what in the world? I didn't notice until somebody pointed something out about it, and I'm not going to speak on something I don't know anything about.
Now, did he have any little girlfriends? Because, I mean, let's be honest, at 15, we could
Or
get hickeys.
or boyfriends. That's
Or
don't be, you know,
Right.
it is what
I
it is.
apologize. I apologize.
Not that we are aware of.
Okay.
Sebastian didn't show the interest. Now he's 15. He's becoming a young man.
But if he didn't show the interest, why would it look like a hickey to you? Why would a kid who doesn't show interest in that have a hickey?
In puberty, I don't know.
Well, he had a crush on Taylor Swift. I remember Katie sharing.
Well,
yeah.
don't take this the wrong way. Most teenage boys do.
Right.
Travis Kelce got one on her.
You
He's
probably
dating
do
That was a
too.
contract.
But
No,
stop
it is not. Oh my
Y'all
god.
didn't see the contract? Come
I
on.
love it.
I
But
saw something someone put out on the internet. Yeah.
Well, then it must be true. Didn't you know that?
speaking of
No.
being 15, how tall? Like I know the poster
He's
tells us
16.
about. He's 16 now. I know it. But when he was 15, he was what 5'2", I believe it said on the poster. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you know about how quick was Sebastian quickly growing? If
He
we
was
had to guess, what height would you believe?
last I knew he was in a growth spurt. I mean,
Yeah.
God, it was funny because I think Seth had went and bought him some boots, and I don't think it was much longer, much before then that we went and bought him some new shoes, and it was like, well, now his foot's too small or too big for the shoes. So Seth went and bought him some shoes, and he's a growing young man. I mean,
So he could be about a foot or two taller, you think now, or?
I don't know if he'd be 6'2". I mean, that's a
Oh my goodness, I didn't mean to say, I meant to say
that'd be a
inch. I'm sorry.
stretch.
Yeah,
I mean,
I didn't mean to say foot. I meant to say inch.
Chris, he don't walk with a slouch or nothing, does he? It didn't look like he did in that video. So
no, he sometimes, like if he's sad, he gets that. I call
Yeah.
it the Eeyore walk, where he kind of drops his head,
Yeah.
oh me, type thing. But no, he
They
stands
call it
vertical.
That sounds like Seth. Oh me.
Or so.
But I mean, I think all kids walk like that when they're down, man. But
Shit, I'm a grown man that does that.
Well, I
but
noticed.
he stands up and he walks, and I mean, God, he's a good kid though.
Does he normally put his hands in his pocket? I noticed that. I noticed Katie did it, and he did it as well. And I know that's a technique they learned. I know that Katie mentioned having classes with him being newly diagnosed with autism. Is that something he normally did? Put his hands in his pocket like that and walk?
I've never heard of that being a technique. I thought maybe you just wear a hoodie and you put your hands in. Is that a technique? I'm not educated on that.
That's so cute. I love that. And I love the fact that Katie did it too.
Oh, and you asked. There's one thing that you guys asked about that would like noticeably his feet when he walks. Yes, he walks on the balls of his feet, but he also not pigeon toed, but he does have where they slightly turn inward a little bit, maybe one more so than the other. I do remember that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. Okay.
Oh,
I believe he was 5'5" when he went missing.
5'5".
I believe.
Right. I can look it up. That just brought me to. So, do you know if there's any truth? And I'm sorry to barbe you with so many questions, but recently people have been replaying the neighbor Bobby's interview, and in that she makes a statement that one of the cameras caught Sebastian looking through the window. Now she didn't say Sebastian, but she pointed out it would have been his bedroom. Do you know if there's any truth to that? Do you know if Sebastian was caught on somebody's camera that night in that type of format, or identified to be Sebastian?
I'm not going to talk on that. That's part of an ongoing investigation. That if it is or if it isn't true, I mean, and how would Bobby know?
Right.
That's a better question that maybe some people should ask. How does somebody who thinks that they know as much as they know? I just don't feel that she knows as much as she thinks she knows.
Right. And he was 5'5". 5'5" is the height on the. Okay, so that's good.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so obviously, I don't know. I wasn't on here earlier. I don't know if Truth had asked because I'm sure you're aware of what's going on in the news in Sumner County right now with the janitor. Any question? Like, I mean, I probably could ask this the other day and I just slipped my mind. But have y'all asked the school in regards to that situation? Like, I know he's at another location, but maybe something like that because this janitor literally gave a phone to a child, and it's like, wait a minute. So there's a lot of questions I had about it. Kind of worried me, given especially what's going on.
I think that would be something. I mean, for law enforcement to address.
Right. I mean, they're going off this case where this custodian at another school gave this girl a phone. Yes, it's scary and that shit does happen. But don't you think that law enforcement would have already covered that? I mean, we're turning on a year almost. Okay, it's almost January. Crazy.
As far as we know, I mean, law enforcement went to the school. They interviewed teachers and staff, and I think if something would have come up about that, it would have came up. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you that I do, but I never heard anything until like this story just recently broke. And
yeah, I just didn't know if maybe because of the story that maybe they reached out and said, hey, we'll ask, that it was just a general thought of mine because Truth had made a point of that, like Clue was talking about it on live, and I said that Truth had brought this up a long time ago, and I'm like, oh shit. And then this happens. I'm like, man, I hope they really kind of go back and look at a lot of stuff.
I'm sure.
What about whatever Crabtree was able to read that Sebastian wrote that shook him to his core, and he was told to shut up about it? What about that? Did he see it? Was it read to him? I heard that Katie showed him directly. What's that all about?
I mean, coming up on 10 months.
Nobody asked that.
I'm hoping they're looking at everything. I'm sure law enforcement has done review after review, bringing in more people. I mean, I'm sure they've probably had to put fresh eyes on this at some point to say, you know, look, is there something we've missed? Maybe somebody else picked something. Who knows? You know, I mean, law enforcement's not going to come out and tell everybody, you know, and they definitely ain't necessarily going to tell me, Katie, or Seth everything.
Right.
You know, law enforcement, it's an open and active investigation.
I do think.
I was going to say, as long as it's not a cold case and it's an active investigation, that's all we want. Keep his name out there. Keep Sebastian forefronted. You know, if there's clues, if there's anything, we need something.
I agree. And if you see something, you should call Sumner County or TBI at 1-800-FIND-TBI.
I don't, Lindsay.
That's where you should be contacting.
Or call your local law enforcement. If you're not in the area and you're somewhere else, call your local law enforcement.
Amen.
You know, I think that these conversations are great. I've just been sitting back listening. Obviously, I want y'all to be able to talk. I think the platform is for that conversation and not so much about bashing the hell out of people. Y'all have to excuse me. I've been coughing my head off. So, you know, at the end of the day, I will say this. Hold on, wait a second. White boy.
Hey, white boy.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm not going to take too much time. I just want to talk to Chris for 1 second. I've been trying to get his attention. Hey, I apologize for what you're going through, you and your family, man, and I hope, you know, Sebastian is brought home. You know, I know the effects with all this on social media. I know what it does. And, you know, there's some people fighting for you, man, and trying to break down this misinformation. Good live with you and guys. I just want to get attention for just 2 seconds, man. Y'all.
White boy works really closely. He's friendly with Don Wells.
We lost
So
him.
he knows.
I mean, if he can hear me, I mean, I appreciate it. And all the thoughts.
Lindsay, I really don't know. You can email me if you want my opinion.
There's a few more questions in the chat that I keep seeing go by pertaining to electronic devices.
Guys, we're going to have to wrap this up pretty soon. I've got to lay down. So whatever couple questions you have, I'm not trying to be rude. I've got to go way back down, guys. So
I know you're not feeling.
I'm not, but that's whatever questions we have, and then let me end it. Go ahead.
Hey, Truth.
Yes.
Hot toddy.
I don't drink alcohol. I'm sober.
No, they have a non-alcoholic version.
Oh,
do
there
they?
you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they use the Taramic or Taramic, whatever you say it.
Taramic.
That's it. They use that in there.
What a reform.
All right, I'll look into it for sure. Chris, you were saying something.
You need to go.
Just telling white boy thanks for everything.
You were saying something.
Thoughts and prayers, and so.
I'm good, brother. Truth, I hope you feel better, brother.
Yeah,
I appreciate you letting me up, man. I didn't have much. I was enjoying just watching down there, but.
Well, like I said, I know that this is not a fun conversation for Chris. I know it's not a fun conversation for Katie to listen to. But it is a conversation that I think needed to be had and needs to be had from time to time, especially when there is an enormous amount of information being pushed, both factual and unfactual. You know, at the end of the day, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. We can have our own opinions on who we think did things. That's perfectly fine. But I said earlier that being on this app for the last almost 8 months that I've had my channel, I have learned a lot of things. I've made a lot of mistakes, right? And I think that's just part of learning the platform. And the one thing that I hold dear is that while a lot of y'all want to judge creators based on the way that they handle their platform or the language that they use, what you fail to understand is with just as much dirty mouth or whatever you want to say it is, there's just as much passion behind what these creators are doing. And you can dislike a creator for whatever reason, but you must show respect to those who are actually doing what they can to bring somebody home. And I think that's the most important thing. And I say this all the time. I've said it multiple times tonight in conversations. Someone just said it.
No, we don't have to do that. No, we don't. You're not the YouTube rule police. Sorry. You're not. We don't have to do that. Okay?
As much passion behind what these creators are doing.
Because you can't trust everybody who says they're out there looking. We've learned that. Okay? In 6 years, we've learned that not everybody who says they're looking are actually looking. And we've learned not to trust every single thing, because with looking usually comes money. So we're very careful about that. We don't have to respect everyone who says they're out there looking. Betty was out there looking, so we need to respect her as well.
And you can dislike a creator for whatever reason, but you must show respect to those who are actually doing what they can to bring somebody home. And I think that's the most important thing. And I say this all the time. I've said it multiple times tonight in conversations. Someone just said it in the comments, and that's trust the process.
That's why there's chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry when it comes to flavors of the ice cream, too. It's one for different people.
So I do apologize for hijacking with questions, but I do appreciate you letting up. And Chris,
you said you had two more. You said you had two more questions. Go ahead.
Well, I know you're not feeling good.
It's all right. Go ahead. We've got it up here anyway.
Okay. Well, the one question is the electronics. So a lot of people are speculating again about electronics.
Yeah, every person that's gone out searching has needed money to do so. We got serpentine belts. We've got fucking dog people. We got hotels. We got gas. We got tires. We got car repairs. I mean, come on.
Electronics. Do you know, has all of Sebastian's electronics been returned?
I can't comment on that.
Okay.
Bing bong.
The last question, I don't even remember. I appreciate your time and thank you for answering what you can. And, Truth, thank you for having me. I hope you feel better. And yeah, I'll come up with a dozen more and I'll let you know. Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah, send my regards to Katie and let her know. There's a lot of people, for as many people that are bashing her, there's a lot more support in her spirit. And at the end of the day, my prayers go out to all of you. And I pray there's answers soon and Sebastian comes home safely.
Amen.
I have one question. We know that Sebastian liked to game. I'm also a gamer. Are there any gamer tags that we should watch out for? Were there any nicknames that he liked? Like,
that would be one for Seth, to be
okay,
honest.
okay, I can ask him. I can ask him.
So,
I understand. I totally understand.
But, well, thank you, everybody. I'm going to jump down.
I'm not
Appreciate all
talking
the
about
questions
locals.
and
He said creators. He said you have to respect. You cannot like a creator, but you must respect them if they're doing things to bring him home. I wasn't talking about locals. And he said the gamer tag is a question for Seth. Never been asked. That's a good question, huh?
and thanks, Truth. Conversation's always wonderful, man.
Yeah, thank you for answering questions about Sebastian. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for real.
You know, Chris, we're going to butt heads, and that's one of the reasons why we're able to talk the way that we are. And I want to also say something because I know this is going to be twisted, and this will be the end of it. Chris and I went at it in the beginning of this over things that were said behind the scenes. I don't need anybody taking that as though they were things that were nefarious, right? Once again, things that have to do with Sebastian and his age are things that don't need to be spoke about on social media. So I'll just leave it at that. I appreciate everybody. Clue, body moving. Granny's watching for coming up. Queen for coming up. I think we lost you at one point. Steven, white boy, thanks for coming up. I don't know what happened to you, but you fell. And, Chris, thanks for jumping up and kind of speaking your mind and clearing up some of the rumors from y'all's perspective. It's really appreciated.
No, thanks, man.
I hope you feel better, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Until next time, guys, we will talk to y'all later. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
All right, that's it. That was a good question. I just wish we would have gotten the good questions answered. So the 3 really good questions from Body were last seen in the area. We didn't get an answer on that. The bruise that Granny asked about, I think, didn't get an answer on that. And then the last question was the gamer tag. Didn't get an answer on that. So it'll be interesting to see if Body can get that information from Seth. Hey, Sane, good to see ya. USDA choice, really? Ew. Seth did say Sebastian bruises easily. Yes, he did. Yeah, 3 really important questions not answered yet. Yep. People use, well, that's what it's called on the games, WV. I believe, I know that there's people in here that game, but I think like when you go on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, you have your username, which is called a gamer tag. I don't think it necessarily means like a hashtag. It's a gamer tag, like a username. It's what you would log in with and what your name would be, right? Like if you're in a chat, Sleuth, like it would say, like your name here. Let's say your gamer tag was Sleuth Investigates. Then your name on Xbox would be Sleuth Investigates. And then when you chat on there, that's what it would show up as. So in other words, she wants to know what his nickname or usernames would be so that she can probably do some searching. It's just a different, I think it's just a different name for like username or login or whatever. Raven, we do know both sides are pushing narratives behind the scenes with creators. Yeah. Yuppers. Yeah, I think she just wants to know what nicknames Sebastian would have used. You know what I mean? Like when you look on Seth Rogers' been verified thing, it says his username was Fat and Choice. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's how it's spelled. All one word, Fat E-N Choice. Did Chris say he's still talking to Seth? I thought I heard him say that. I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't think he said that. How come my YouTube name shows in chat but not my handle? That's a YouTube thing. It's weird because in comments it shows your handle, and that's what gets confusing for my choice, or from my perspective. Fate in choice. Oh. Weird. Fate in choice. Does that refer to Katie? Was it fate and then eventually her choice? Like, what does that even mean? Fate and choice? Listen to this. You know, I think you guys might be on something. Fate and choice. No, it might be deep because listen, you know what, Katie, when she was with Seth, listen what her emails were. New wife and mom 08 at yahoo.com. New wife and mom. And his is fate in choice. Don't you think that's weird? New wife and mom 08, and he's fate in choice. Can you imagine going to Bath and Body Works? What's your email so we can send you coupons? New wife and mom 08. Fat and choice at gmail.com. Fate and choice is Romeo and Juliet quote. Is it really? Ooh, weird. Katie also had Punk Rock Girl. It's kind of, this is from 03. It's like abbreviated, but it's Punk Rock Girl 03 at Yahoo as well. Can't make it up. I'm fat and chosen. I accidentally ordered Mexican food under my Sleuths account. That was fucking embarrassing. Dre, that's fucking hilarious. I did that before. Dude, I had an Instacart under my original email for my main channel, Murder Rap Sesh. I accidentally ordered on Instacart under that freaking account. Hi, Sherry. Thank you for your PayPal, Sherry. I accidentally ordered my groceries under Murder Rap Sesh. Thank God I didn't have to freaking say it or anything. But I was like, oh, damn. No, I said fat in choice. That's how it's spelled. No, it's fat in choice. Fat by choice. You guys are nuts. You guys are freaking nuts. Sleuth. I am here to pick up for Sleuth Investigates. What's your email, ma'am? Sleuthsinvestigates at gmail.com. Oh, shit. Ma'am, what's your profile picture so we can so we can verify. Oh shit, that is some funny stuff. Oh, well, it's like it's a skeleton. This is True Crime Junkie. Okay, we've got your order right here, ma'am. Oh crap. Your name was Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Oh, it's a dead lady with a yeah, it's a dead lady with a glass of wine. This is True Crime Junkie. Oh man. Oh, for sure, Saint Outlaw. I bet that would be a riot. Oh man, that's funny. Most security cameras, especially expensive ones on expensive houses, have built-in infrared. Well, did you notice when they talked about the security camera that that homeowner that the flashlight video came from got a new camera? I bet you LE took their camera. What do y'all think? I bet you they did. I told him to go to bed, and he did. Oh man, you guys, my head hurts. I gotta go get some lunch though. I haven't eaten anything, and I drank a whole pot of coffee this morning. So I really, really need to eat. I got some at Lowe's for like 300. I can see just fine. Did you get the damn order? I would be scared to deliver. Yes, I did get it. Absolutely, I did. Oh, wait. Before you go, I've got one more thing. I almost forgot. Speaking of laughing, before we go, I was sent this, so I went ahead and uploaded it. Hold on, let me reshare. This will be your laugh it out, okay? This is another snore fest from last night that was captured. It looks like this person captured this at about 3:30 in the morning. She's reviewing Truth's panel. Here we go.
As long as it's the correct information and it's out there being used.
Okay.
And I'm saying this for all three parents. And no, I haven't talked to Seth in a while, but I am going to speak for him when I say this.
Hang on. Let me go back. I think they would take the whole camera, especially since the times were frozen. I think that's a weird thing to happen. So I do think that they would take the entire camera to find out why that time was frozen. Maybe if there was no discrepancy with the camera's operational capacities, but I think they would definitely need to take the camera to do forensics to find out why the timestamp froze up.
As long as it's the correct information and it's out there being used.
Okay.
And I'm saying this for all three parents. And no, I haven't talked to Seth in a while, but I am going to speak for him when I say this. There's not enough resources until he is found that we could ask for. Because one, I don't know what to ask for. People have done flyers, they've done billboards. I mean, yeah, some of the negative stuff has kept his name in the spotlight. As much as I can't stand the negativity, yes, his name's in the spotlight. You know, I don't know what else to do.
Brittany,
I mean,
I know.
Other than stand everybody in this country toe to toe, side by side, and walk from one end of it to the other, I don't know what to do.
Right, because you don't know what you don't know. Like, yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yep, fell asleep reviewing it last night. Can't make it up, y'all. You can't make it up. Tis what it is. Yeah, she's very invested. Very invested, Nicole G. Don't you know? Oh, yeah, Sleuth. This is becoming a nightly thing, and she blames it on her son. She blames it on everything but just saying, I fucking fell out. And it just keeps going and going and going. And the tubes turn. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you for joining this morning and going over this and discussing it. Like I said, don't show hate to any of the creators that were on that panel. I have my own opinion. You guys have your own opinions. It's nothing personal. Wop, 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 wop. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, mods.
I might go forever, go for eons. Front like you don't be on. Pull off in the Tesla, Elon. When I was a kid, I was a phenom. When I was a kid, I was a beast. I pull up, then I be gone. See ya, see ya, see ya. Be gone. See ya, see ya, see ya. Be gone. Thumbing through the blues, no BB King. Back to back shit, so just looking for the ring. I wake up, I brush my teeth. I wake up, I bought 2, 3. I wake up like, ooh, that's me. Brand new car, like, ooh, that's clean. Tracksuit pants, don't wear no jeans. I'm athletic, count up 100 like prosthetics. Talking about a bag, you got bad credit. New MX, we don't use debit. Calling, brand new deals, keep calling. Tell them bring them through, need all them. 4 whole kids still ballin'. I just get up and I zoom. I don't need proof, I'm the proof. I be way up at the moon. I'm looking down on you. Hey nigga, I'm proud of you. Stack money a mile or 2. I might go forever, go for eons. Front like you don't be on. Pull off in the Tesla, Elon. When I was a kid, I was a phenom. When I was a kid, I was a beast. I pull up, then I be gone. See ya. See ya, see ya, be gone. See ya, see ya, see ya, be gone. I'm on a run and you better know. I'm in the know and you better know. I'm here to stay and you better know. I'm at the table, I never fold. I'm at the table, I'm up again. I'm at the table, I'm here to win. Don't cook a record, don't come again. Please, I just need what I need. I collect for my seeds. Would've thought my name tree. I pick up then I leave. In my pocket I be. I don't like to be seen. I just get up and I zoom. I don't need proof, I'm the proof. I be way up with the moon. I'm looking down on you. Hey nigga, I'm proud of you. Stack money a mile or 2. I might go forever, go for eons. Front like you don't be on. Pull off in the Tesla, Elon. When I was a kid, I was a phenom. When I was a kid, I was a beast. I pull up, then I be gone. See ya, see ya, see ya. Be gone. See ya, see ya, see ya.